Poof. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I just realized that I didn't promote yet on Discord. So, sorry about that. Give me a second while I just do the copy pasta all over the damn place here. How's everybody doing? I am excited to show off some more Warrior gameplay. I got some stuff going on as far as gameplay and role play. We'll be doing some leveling, and actually I think we're gonna take on some giants to start off here. And I got some story, some backstory to fill in for you all too that I've been working on. Inspired from Bayofish's use of AI. I've been using them as a sort of buddy to, or it. I guess let's not personify it any more than it needs to be. As a sort of like a research assistant and taking dictation for me and bouncing ideas off of it, and it seems to be working pretty well, actually. It's a nice tool to use. It can be very inaccurate, so don't trust it at all, right? And it can give you some really bonkers things, but if you correct it correctly and feed it the right information to start off with, it could be a very valuable resource. So often what I'll do, what I've kind of refined my way through is I'll go find like a wiki page and I'll copy and paste it into the AI prompt, or like a Nexus page if I want some ideas on how to put some skills together. I'll feed it you know, the Ordinator, copy and paste from the Ordinator Nexus page with all the different you know, perks and things like that, and I'll say, hey, how do I lean into to critical strikes? That's something that I haven't done yet in a build, and it'll be like, here's all the stuff that has to do with critical strikes, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that helps. It's kind of just like an advanced search feature. I wouldn't give it any more power in your brain than it deserves. I think it's been going too far in the world, but realize what it is that you're seeing, what it is that you are using, and use it appropriately. It's free, so you'd kind of be silly not to use it at this point. Can't put the genie back in the bottle, as they say, but sorry, I'm over here in Discord just copy pasting everywhere to do my marketing due diligence, you know. So I'm not looking at chat currently, but I will in a few seconds here. Very close, very close. God, so many Discords. Anybody else have like 24 Discords that they're on? They just cannot keep up with all of them. It's probably not healthy. Let's see. Streaming, here we go. And one more for good measure. All right, I'm done. Let me catch up on chat here. Let's see, we have Magus, Caladran, Quiliowin. I feel like I pronounced that perfectly right out of the bat. Man, I'm proud of myself. James, welcome, buddy. Pastor. Awesome. Good crowd already here. Good to see everybody. I hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I only have a 5 on Discord? Okay, lucky you. Yeah, I feel like Discord is where I do my like networking to grow the channel a little bit. I'm on some Starfield centric Discords. I'm on a lot of like streaming Discords, some smaller streamers, some bigger streamers, you know. 9 or 10, yeah, that's probably a little more than it needs to be, but I think Magus, you use this Discord the same way that I do. It's a really good way to network and actually reach as many people as possible, but also in your case to, you know, help people with modding and stuff. So yeah, it's too many, but all right, so here we are. This is Fortius Certus. He's a young guy. He's actually, I like to believe he's somewhere between 19, 21. He looks a little older than he is, just because, you know, that's what a life of hard training will get you. Get you some scars, get you some weathered skin, a few, you know, dings and dents that, you know, usually earn with age. This guy's gotten them early on in life. And a little bit of backstory. His father was one of Jonah's most trusted lieutenants, and he was key in coming up with the strategy for the Battle of the Red Ring, where they kind of faked a retreat and turned into an ambush in Imperial City, and that's how they got the Thalmor to stop their attack and agree to a truce, or at least a ceasefire. So he was key in actually ending the war and preventing complete takeover from the Thalmor. He had a wife that he loved very, very much, and with that wife, he had this child named Fortius. And the name Fortius Certus translates to something, the Fortius means strong, but it means like stronger than, from the translations that I've seen. Certus means precise, certain, or sure. So he has that like very laser-like focus. He is he's a technique hound. He's always looking to refine his technique and his tactics and things like that. So not only is he strong, but he's also he's got the brawn and the brains, right? He was built from the ground up by his father to be this ultimate sort of imperial soldier. His mother died a long time ago when Fortius was very young. He was probably too young to even process the emotions that went along with that. Not quite, though. He understood the gravity of the situation, and he missed his mom dearly. He still remembers her, but his father and he made like a silent pact with each other, to where it's like, okay, this is a very like stoic, maybe like toxic part of masculinity, where it's like, okay, we're gonna agree not to bring up these emotions that we have for this person, and instead we are going to tighten up our jaw, whiten our knuckles, and we're just going to focus on the future here. So they both redoubled their efforts on Fortius's training. So from a very young age, he was taught in the ways of martial warfare tactics, how to properly hold a sword, how to leverage a spear, how to use a shield not just to block but deflect, and a little more finesse on the battlefield, but also like tactics. His father would regale him of stories of like the Red Ring, certain tactics that they use to overcome overwhelming odds. So all that stuff is ingrained in his brain from a very young age, and that's kind of how they dealt with the grief, is they covered it up with Fortius's training. So his father, his name was Aulus, Aulus. He died not too long ago. In fact, very, very recently, which is why Fortius is now kind of on his sort of rite of passage as a true like ultimate soldier. He sent him to Skyrim to kind of discover himself. Not only because his father told him what it meant to be like a soldier, but he never really taught him what it meant to be a man. So he hooked him up with Gore, a former arena champion, and Gore is now kind of his mentor. He's still refining his techniques, talking about tactics, battlefield tactics, and stuff like that. And so once he feels ready to kind of join the Legion as a whole soldier, he will do that and help the Imperials win the Civil War. But right now he's just trying to discover himself, right? Try to refine his skills a little bit. Gore's the one in the dwarven plate armor there. He is kind of a goofball. He's got some funny lines and things like that, but he was an arena champion for a very long time, and in fact Fortius grew up watching him in the arena and would study his moves and things like that. So Aulus, one of his last orders of business before he died was to get Gore on contract to become Fortius's mentor. So that's what he's doing. Gore is really just kind of a voice in the background for Fortius. He's not trying to direct him anywhere, but as he finds areas of opportunity to teach him things, he will add his advice here and there. Gore's kind of a goofball, like I said. He's got some funny lines of dialect, but he does know his way around a battlefield, around a fight. He is sort of the wisdom and life part of things that Aulus, Fortius's father, wasn't able to provide to Fortius before he kicked off. So there's that. There's another roleplay concept that I'm exploring too, and that is... okay, let me back up a little bit here. So what are the challenges with playing a basic class like a warrior, right? With other classes, you have nuance. You have like this witch hunter who employs like sneak and magic and bows, and then the Nightblade is kind of like the melee side of that with daggers instead of bows. And then you have like pilgrims who are kind of like a warrior, but then they also have like these specific quality, like personality quality traits to fall back onto to help you shape the character. The warrior is just a guy who wears heavy armor and has weapons, right? So the challenge here is trying to find the X factor, the kind of the wow of a class like this. And so for roleplay concepts, I was looking like, what could I add to, how can I turn gear? Because he is warrior is a smithing skill. It has smithing as a major skill. So we can craft new armor and things like that. So I was thinking, how can I take my gear and add it to roleplay? And I'm thinking like different phases are like different rites of passage. So at first we had the iron plate armor, which I was using, which is a creation kit, a creation club AE, upgraded AE item. And it looks great. It looks better than the Steel Soldier, I think. Even though the Steel Soldier looks really good, especially with the Zapio retextures, the iron plate looks really good. But now he's gotten to a point where he's been able to graduate to steel. So this is his steel phase, and everything that he uses is steel. So we have steel arrows. We have a steel spring steel bow. I don't know. Don't remember the name of it. And a steel spear that we're using. So we have all the different modes of offense taken care of here. We have the bow. Archery is a warrior skill. If you're talking about guardian stones, archery I think is in the vanilla game a thief stone, but in classic classes in burst signs and with, I think it's either Andromeda or the unofficial patch, it moves it back over into being a warrior skill. Maybe both do that. I'm not sure. Andromeda does for sure. So archery is something that we'll be able to use, just not sneak. So we're using archery to kind of open up combat from time to time, and there's some better tricks that you can get once we unlock the trick arrows perk in the archery tree. We got a big old shield over here. Yeah, and then the spear that we're using animated armory for. So yeah, he's looking pretty good. I think he's looking pretty close to the concept art that I had the AI tools generate for me. And it's very close to what I had in my head as well. If you prompt correctly, you can get something very, very close. Although it's like I said, it still has issues. You get swords in weird places at weird angles and like weird size like katanas that are being wielded by knights, which I guess is kind of par for the course for Skyrim, but you don't really want that in your concept art, right? Hey, 57 Strudel, welcome. Posted a build in Icarus's build theory that uses Daedric rifle along with Dremora Marginaz armor, who follows Azura, which gives magic resistance reduction. Cool, yeah, and that's what I'm going to be kind of focused on this too, is like I got to get the resistances in order because defense is going to be kind of a big deal for this guy because he doesn't rely on magic. He has the range stuff of the bow, but without being able to sneak, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. So especially with ranged combat and mages, we're going to need to have some defense to back up on here. And there's some perks in Ordinator that help with that. Okay, so I am also running the updated Summer Mist mod. And if you don't know, Summer Mist had a huge update like a week or two ago, where I really refined a lot of the different enchantments, scaled some things back as far as balance. So some of the strength that was there before, the really ridiculous overpowered stuff wasn't there, but he added some stuff that kind of covers bases a little better as far as like creating weaknesses to certain elements and boosting defenses here and there too. Watch. Sorry, Karn. Don't know if you answered or not, but is this Bjorn ENB? No, this is Rudy. This is a Rudy ENB with Obsidian Weathers, I believe. This is an old Nolvis guide, and it really kind of points you in that direction. There are different options that it gave you back in the day, but Rudy and Obsidian are the big ones. Still looks great. I haven't really felt a need to change it. Looks good to me. Hope you're doing well, by the way, Koch. Hotch, not Koch. Do you still have honed metal? If you don't, you could pay for enchanted armor and equipment. Yeah, so I do have honed metal. I've turned off the enchantment part of that because that kind of, if I'm doing buildcraft, and the builds that I am crafting, I want to be viable for people who maybe don't or can't use honed metal for whatever reason. So I'm keeping the enchantment part of it, you know, aside from modded enchantments, kind of vanilla. So I give myself the ability to enchant, but I don't take any perks into it, right? So that keeps things a little more on the balanced side of things. It's really hard to have any kind of concept of balance in Skyrim because even the vanilla game's just completely all jacked up. And then when you start adding mods into it, some mods make certain aspects too easy and other mods try to add more balance by making things more difficult. So it's a very finicky sort of instrument to kind of try to finesse into place. Playing Skyrim right now with Nulvis, it's awesome. How about you? Yeah, same, buddy. I want to say it's a rough week at work, but you know, work's going fine. It's just been extremely busy. You know, putting in 10 to 12 hours a day can really just take its toll, even if you're sitting at a desk the whole time. Rudy adds a little bit of a blue tint to the game. It can at times, especially like at night and in cold parts, but it looks, I don't know, maybe a little bit blue here in the shade too. But in the sun, it's fine. Hey, we got Lil Vixie here too. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying out of the heat, man. It's been rough here lately. I think Phoenix hit 113 yesterday. It's been in the 110s pretty much all week. I think it's coming down a little bit over the weekend here. All right, so what are we doing now? Well, we're gonna hit the road. We have a bounty. To kill a giant at Sleeping Tree Camp. And I think anybody who's played this game for any significant amount of time, you know that there's not just one giant over there. There's probably at least one and then some mammoths. There is a giant inside the cave there where the Apotheos armor is. But I'm not sure what giant it's talking about. Also, I am only level 26 right now. I'm probably going to be punching above my weight with this. We do have Gore to give us some backup, so he can tank for us a little bit if we need to. But I am running Shadow of Skyrim, so if we do get killed by this giant, we're going to wake up in the last place we slept, which I think is Jorvaskr. Oh yeah, we got the Stormtrooper helmet on. It looks kind of silly. The rest of this armor looks great, I think. It's just the helmet that looks kind of funky. But you gotta wear it. I'm also using the enchanted set that you find as part of the quest that comes with this creation. So we do get 10% resistance to all magic. That's great. Stamina regenerates 20% faster, which is also great. Block 17 more percent more damage with your shield and grants 40% resistance to fire. The big thing that we're missing here is the armor rating. I think iron plate armor on either, I think it's on the chest piece, gives you a percentage increase to heavy armor rating. We're not getting that here, but we do have a pretty good armor rating regardless. I was able to craft up a potion of smithing here. I am using enchanting and using smithing. I'm sorry, enchanting and alchemy, I'm just not perking into it because those aren't part of the class. But you can still get some pretty powerful effects. 20% is nothing to sneeze at. That's like a perk that you get every time you drink a potion. So I use that to smith up the gear. I do have the arcane smithing perk. Yeah, so yeah, that's what... Stamina is much more important than health early in the game. And I will die on that sword if I have to. Because early in the game, this is your best weapon. That causes a stagger. If you can time it right, this causes a stagger, which completely shuts down your opponent's offense and opens up your offense, right? So this is your most important weapon in the game. And just blocking in general is really important. And all of that takes up stamina, as well as this. So if you run out of stamina with Wildcat and you're doing some kind of like either alternate death or like a Shadows of Skyrim or permadeath, running out of stamina is death. Running out of life, of course, is death too, but as long as you have stamina, you have ways to prevent yourself from losing life. So, yes, that is too high as of a ratio right now, but that's because I've been putting 3 points into stamina for every 5 levels. So 3 points into stamina, 2 points into health, and now stamina's at a pretty good clip. So as of right now, I'm not running out of stamina, and this is just a very recent development. I've been running out of stamina really quickly in these fights, which is why I've been concentrating on it. But now it feels good, so I'm going to be switching that that ratio back over to health. So maybe 3 health to 2 stamina, or probably more closely 4 health to 1 stamina for every 5 levels, starting with this level. So that's why stamina is so high. Also, because as an Imperial, you get Imperial... what is it? It's with Imperious, at certain levels, you get to pick attributes. Let's see, the human spirit. No, not that one. Here we go. Yeah, the human spirit. So at level 10, 20, and 30, you take permanent changes to attributes, resistance, and skills. So I took, I think you get like either a 100 or a 50 boost. I think it's a 100 point boost to one attribute and a 50 point detriment to another one. So I took the 50 point boost to stamina because that was early. I needed stamina more than I needed health. And then I gave the penalty to magicka. So that gave me a 100 boost to stamina. So you cut that 100, you cut that stamina down by 100, and now you're much closer. So you would have a 280 health to 293 stamina. Food buff is a good idea. I've been using food, but since I've been leveling up alchemy as well, alchemy quickly, even without any perks, alchemy starts to outpunch food pretty quickly. Capri X, welcome. The Artificer class is a warrior class, uses all 3 crafting skills, but no actual magic. Right. So the issue that I'm having with the warrior is that I'm trying to incorporate all of the different warrior skills, and the warrior skills, you know, it has a lot of good defense, but the offense, it uses all 3 modes of warrior offense as well, right? So you got archery, one-handed, and two-handed. So it is going to be a challenge splitting those. I already have this enchantment, but it's fine. So it is going to be a challenge trying to use all three of those offensive skills. Typically, when you're doing a character build, you want to focus on one or at most two offensive skills, like one for melee and one for ranged.
Nothing like fine spirits.
But I'm trying to come up with a play style that incorporates all three of them, right? So we're going to be opening combat with like archery as the enemy closes the distance, and we're going to be switching to either one-handed or two-handed based on what kind of opportunities we find. If we can get Gore to tank for us, we'll switch to two-handed, but when the enemies get too close, we're going to default to one-handed, so we have the defensive benefits of the shield. Oh yeah, and I am using a lot of vegetable soup. Vegetable soup, not so much anymore. So vegetable soup is good. Vegetable soup is much better for vanilla Skyrim than it is for Wildcat. If you're running Wildcat, vegetable soup is much less powerful. And that is because with Wildcat, you do more damage and take more damage based on stamina levels. So vegetable soup does give you a regen of, it's not actually regenerate, it's not making you regen stamina faster, it's giving you 1 point per second of stamina, which is nice because it keeps you just over the 0 mark. And in vanilla, that's all you need to do, a power attack or a bash or something like that. And it's the same for Wildcat, but you'll be able to do the power attack, you'll be able to do the bash, but your damage overall is going to be cut way short of what it would be with full stamina. So in Wildcat, you really want to keep your stamina topped off as much as possible to keep your offensive capabilities up there enough, especially if you're running it at legendary difficulty where enemies are very spongy. You need that damage. You need that damage in order to put an enemy down without, spending 7 years trying to put down a wolf. Don't need to worry about mass stamina. Yeah, so vegetable soup, really overpowered in the base game, not so much in Wildcat. So I do have regenerate stamina potions, which is more valuable in Wildcat than the vegetable soup. But I do have plenty of vegetable soup. I was using that early game for sure. So my philosophy on melee combat, or really just combat in general in Skyrim, is a little bit different than everybody else's. Even in the vanilla base game, I would kind of roll my eyes at people thinking that it was just a button mashing game where it's like all that you had to do, or the only way to be good at melee in this game, was to beef up your attributes and beef up your skills to where you were stronger than your opponents, and then you just get in and start mashing. Of course, you can play it that way, but then you don't get to complain that the that the melee combat in this game is not nuanced enough, because you're just putting that on yourself. I tend to look at it in terms of what can I do actively as a player to keep myself alive. And there are ways that you can adjust your play style to stay alive and do more damage and things like that. And of course, it's a little bit different for Wildcat, and I've mentioned all the differences there. You want to keep your stamina levels as high as possible in Wildcat. But in the vanilla base game too, okay. Oh geez, that guy came out of nowhere. He's got that other one. Good. And the armor is holding up well here. We took a shot from the flank, and it's just a regular wolf. These are probably very low-level wolves. Yeah, at level 2, so they're not doing much damage at this point anyway, but it's nice that we can take a completely unexpected shot from the back and be able to just shrug it off. That's good. Joe, what's up? Gonna go make a drink real quick. Nice. Enjoy your weekend, buddy. Get started. Yeah, I lost myself. Oh yeah, so there are some things. I tend to be more active with bashing, timed blocking, things like that. Making more use of power attacks to induce staggers alongside the bashing, and all that stuff takes up stamina. So bashing, power attacks, if you're using them in the right spots at the right time, they become much more costly on your stamina than they do on your health. If you're good at it, you can avoid taking health damage in melee combat, but it costs you stamina. So that's why and I do this with all my characters. It's not just this one. This is why I completely missed my turn there, didn't I? And this is why I invest so heavily in stamina at the early part of the game. But now that I've gotten stamina to a point where it does feel comfortable in a fight, now I'm going to start pumping it into health for sure. And you'll see that ratio come back up a little bit. So yes, it's not just me making a mistake by having 100 more stamina than I do health. There is a method to my madness. I did it for very specific reasons, and that's why. I know it's not how a lot of people play Skyrim, but that's the way that makes most sense to me. Okay, I see some mammoths up here. Mammoths mean dragons. There's some kind of shrine or something over here too. Yep, okay, there's that creepy tree. Alright, where is this mammoth? Or not this mammoth, this giant. Let's see a giant. See two mammoths huddled over there. Oh, there's a giant over there. Is that my guy? That's my guy, I think. Okay, so... let's find some terrain that we can use. Just wanted to mention Mihail's elemental golems for your mage stream when it comes. Those golems are uber strong, and they're stronger than potent Atronachs having fire, frost, or electro golem. That sounds pretty awesome. Sounds really cool. I'm still trying to balance my game a little bit. I do play on legendary difficulty, and I don't want the flack of you know, people saying, "Oh yeah, legendary" in quotes when I'm modding in a bunch of powerful stuff to make the game easier. Okay, so it looks like those mammoths over there are going to have a hard time getting to me in their current position. So I really kind of... God damn it. The wildlife over here is crazy, right? Do I have a paralysis poison? Let's go with the spider venom. I don't think I need to blow paralysis. Gore, turn around. There's a saber cat right next to you. There you go. Okay. Let's get prepped here. Do a quick save just in case things go completely sideways. I am going to take my death if I get it. But I do want to get ready to go on this. We have the paralysis poison here if we need it. I do want to use True Shot for the archery boost. We're going to use heavy armor. We are going to use regenerate stamina. We don't need any resistances, and potion of berserker if we can get Gore to tank here. All right, let's do it. Oh, and then there's the mammoth that just came out of nowhere. Okay, Gore is tanking. Stay in there, Gore. All right, let's switch to the spear. Ooh, okay, no, that's good. Okay, that went really, really well. Woo. Fine steel arrows. Okay, those were mine that I fired in. Fire salts. We can use this to create fire arrows. Very good, very good. And the horse hide, we can use that to level up. Man, I'm telling you right now, my heart is beating. That's by far the strongest enemy we've taken on yet. And by the way, I did go and take on that Thalmor agent that was hoarding the iron armor over here. And I did get a reward for it. Let's see. I'm doing thorns damage now, so whenever I take damage, it reflects it back as bleed damage, I think. Hey, it's macadamia. Macadamia will forever be my favorite mispronunciation. Yeah, macadamia. Macadamia's the man. How'd your stream go, macadamia? Ancient blood magic to Xbox. That's yeah, that's nice. I mean, Sacrosanct gives me all the hemomancy I need, but for somebody who's looking for something just a little more focused on maybe some blood magic, then yeah, having a blood magic spell pack could be great. Without having to be a vampire, I guess, too, is another plus to that. Of course, don't tell Magus that. Not having to be a vampire is never a positive in his book. Okay, let's see. I'm more afraid of those mammoths than I am of the giant. But let's see if I can. I know that there's a chest in here around here somewhere, isn't there? I'm pretty sure there is. I thought there was. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm thinking of another spot. I know that there's a chest in the cave there. So I would say Gore says we passed this with flying colors. He probably took a little more damage than he would have wanted, but he does appreciate the tactics that we used there. Opening up with archery, and then coming in for the big damage with the two-handed spear, going after the hamstrings and the Achilles tendons and things in the flank. He would have said that the mobility and the heavy plate armor is looking good. We're wearing the armor really well. Switching out weapons and ranges pretty fluidly. And looking good doing it. So yeah, I would say probably an A- to an A, just because he took a little more damage than he wanted. He probably wanted to see how we could deal with the giant. And now we get a nice bounty. I'm running the bounty mod that allows you to set your own bounty rewards for things, and giants, since it's more of a specialty situation, you get more for giants than you do bandits and things like that. Where is... That's a cool trick. All right. I might be pressing my luck here, but... we do have the paralysis if we need it. Okay, so Gore saw the defensive ability there too. Timing's good on the blocks and the bashes. Even with properly timed, placed blocks, we took about a third of our life. That's not great. Those giants, if I would have taken one of those shots clean, I would have been one and done. I would have been dead. The Apotheos. Oh, we got a unique weapon there too from Billy Rose Compendium. Cool, cool. Steel Dagger of Noon. I don't think I have this enchantment yet. That would be good for undead dungeons. Let's see if we can get Gore to come back to us here. We got some politics. Well, thank you, mods. I was not even looking. You guys are on it, though. Great job. Proud of you, team. Man, it definitely pays to have friends watching it while you stream. That's for sure. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's see. Is there any more sleeping tree sap that I can get out of this? Now you should... I've heard that you can interact with the spigot on the sleeping tree itself and get some sap out of it, but we got mammoths there. The mammoths scare me worse than the giants. I know I've already said that, but yeah, mammoths are tough. Especially two of them right next to each other there. That's a whole new challenge. Oh, Gore, what are you... Gore is really getting me into trouble here. Okay, let's get in there. Oh, swing and a miss. Okay. Let's let the stamina regen a little bit. Okay, we are out of stamina. Let's back off. Okay. All right. Well, 40 is here. He is surprising me. He's surprising himself a little bit too. And we got all kinds of crafting materials here. This is awesome. I've turned off time time passing for Hunterborn, just because it keeps me out of the game a little bit. This is something that if you're doing a survival playthrough, it makes the game a little bit harder, because you have to kind of like rest and eat and stuff between skinning sessions if you don't have your Hunterborn levels all the way up. But for me, this is an awesome reward for having been able to take out 2 mammoths and their giants, right? And this helps me level up smithing faster because it gives me a ton of crafting materials to use. Gore, come help me out here.
What do you need?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even see the messages that you were talking about. I wonder if YouTube Haster Wind maybe, I don't know. Oh, Magus deleted. Yeah, it says Magus deleted the message. I don't know. I guess maybe they just got called out on their BS and decided to extract themselves from the situation. All I see is the deleted message. Oh, there was 2 deleted messages. Okay, just kind of coming in here spewing propaganda and then peaced out. All right, that's fine. fucking hate people like that. Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, there was anti-Jew stuff in there too, with the Leviticus stuff. Hit his message. Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. That's why it helps to have 50% of your audience be be moderators. Cool. Well, we took care of it. Score one for the good guys. All right. Additional follower inventory. Are you holding any? Oh, just alchemy stuff. All right. Take all my crafting stuff that I'm not going to need. Mammoth snouts, don't need the mammoth snouts. Everything else I think I can keep. How are we looking? Much better on that. All right. So well done. That was very successful, and honestly, I thought it was going to be a coin flip whether or not I was going to be able to get through these giants. And then the mammoths, I was like, no, probably not. But I feel like, you know, we're kind of getting to the point where we're being able to keep pace with Gore a little bit. He's running out of things to teach us, maybe. At least on tactical and, you know, technique and strength matters. We're kind of right up there with him. I don't know that we would have been able to tank all those mammoth and giant shots that he did. In fact, I know we wouldn't be able to, because on legendary difficulty, NPCs do and they do more damage and they take less damage, far less actually than the player character does, which is, you know, BGS's go-to way of balancing things for difficulty. You know, let's not make the AI smarter, which actually they can do through settings in the game. Let's just make NPCs take 25% of the damage that they would on the normal difficulty level, and make the player character take 4 times the amount that they normally would. That sounds like balance. That sounds like a good way to scale difficulty. All right, I think that two-handed skill is kind of falling a little bit behind the one-handed skill, so I want to make use of the spear a little more so than the sword and board. One thing I was trying to figure out this week, there are a couple of mods that I have that use alternate textures for shields, and I couldn't get all good to keep that shield permanent. Like for this is an immersive armor's shield with a custom paint job on it. So when I switch weapons, that thing goes away. If I take like a vanilla shield, or one that doesn't have alternate textures on it. Let's just say like steel shield. Or we'll do like an iron shield. Like, we'll just take this one as an example, right? Okay, so we have the banded iron shield on there.
Often come down to build.
Oh no!
You got arms like a clanfiar, then you got no range.
Did it never work? I could have sworn that usually worked. If you had like a shield on there, it would keep it. Oh, you know what I bet I need to do? That's probably a setting in All Good that since I started a new game, I didn't set it up properly. I'm not going to play with it too much here because I want to do more playing than I am actually doing setups here. And it's not a big deal one way or another. But I thought I had that working at some point. Maybe it just never worked. And if I had a shield, I just always had it equipped. Listen. don't think this is it. That'll just keep it on the arm instead of on the back. Yeah, maybe this just never worked, and I've just never I've never had a shield character that switched weapons before. Weird. Generate, yeah, and I did that. It's there's an option called like mod explosion or something like that, where it takes everything that's kind of it's an SSE edit script where yeah, it basically it takes what you like all the different options for all those different shields, and it turns it into. And I did that, and before that it was giving me like purple textures for these non-exploded shields, but now it's actually showing them properly. I was getting purple textures for the Viking shields, and I was getting just the regular old yellow shield for immersive weapons. I want to get that shield back on the back. There might be a setting in here. I'll fiddle with it a little bit. Maybe I can just lock it into place there or something. I don't know. Either way, it's clipping with the cape a little bit, but that's okay. I like having the physics cape. So the blue cape I think goes really well with this, but there is some wacky clipping with the cloak, with the scarf that comes with this armor. And the Zabio retexture also made that blue a lot darker to where it's almost just like not even blue anymore. It's just like kind of a gray, dark gray. So it doesn't blend in as much as I thought it was going to, but in the heat of battle and when you're running around and everything, it seems to work fine. With anything physics enabled, that's kind of the drawback, is you get this nice flowing cape, but you're also going to get a lot of clipping with things on your back. It's all right. If you're not just staring at it the whole time, it's probably not gonna bother you too much. I just really like, being able to do like dodge rolls and be in combat with like, I don't know why the spear and the cloak just look really cool together. I don't know. This physics stuff is a new toy for me. And I really love flowing capes in other games, and now it's just like, I don't know, I can't get over it.
Come along, no more stops. We need to find our way to solitude.
Why are we even going to a wedding?
You really need to, yeah, IED, immersive equipment displays, not improvised explosive device, right? I don't want to get into IEDs. I already look like the Unabomber a little more than I should. Ted Kaczynski kind of hermit look, and if I'm also doing explosives as a hobby, that's not going to bode well for me in my public perception, right? So here we go. Yes, immersive equipment display. That might be another one of those incremental changes I make in my next profile update, but for right now, I'm still kind of finding little issues here and there, like the non-exploded shield models that weren't showing correctly on my back. Got that fixed. Now it's just not permanent. I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit. This is the third assassin. Fell out of the death animation, so they're invincible for a little bit. Nice. This is the third assassin Fortius has run into on the road. And it seems like somebody, well, it's obvious somebody is targeting him. And to send 3 tough assassins to try to kill him, somebody really wants this guy dead. And I have no idea who that could be, really. Do you guys have any ideas? I guess I could ask ChatGPT too. Might give me a few ideas of who it could be. He's kind of too young to have any like real enemies, so I'm thinking maybe just you know, an enemy of his father, maybe one of Gore's enemies, someone who lost a bunch of money on him in the arena or something. Probably more likely a political rival of his father's that he just didn't know about. That's probably the best way to play it, right? That gives us the most options. It's the most likely scenario. And it kind of gives us a branch to kind of chase this backstory down. Like maybe take on the Dark Brotherhood questline or something like that. And that would be a cool challenge to do the Dark Brotherhood questline without being able to sneak. Just kind of blasting your way through everything. It's something that I have not done before, but I'm pretty sure that it's possible. It just becomes a pain in the ass with all the bounties you incur. Favor Smilodon more than Wildcat. I think Anai actually retired Smilodon in favor of Wildcat because Wildcat did everything that Smilon did. It just, Smilodon was, it was a more concise package. It was packaged in a way that was better for console users. And it was a lot more simple. I liked Smilodon just fine. I used it for a while. And for me, it was basically just Wildcat, but with a few less bells and whistles. $19 watching and only 8 likes. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Actually, the streams have been doing well lately. I feel like I had around 15 or 20 last week. And that was even in an off time slot. And now in my regular time slot, we're doing 20. I don't remember the last time I had 20. I think I've had upwards of 30 before, but that was kind of a flash in the pan. You said he is of a noble house. Yes, his father was one of the most trusted lieutenants and advisors of General Jonah from the Great War. Of Great War renown. So yeah, there is lots of opportunity there for enemies. Love and iMods? Yeah, me too. Welcome, Ireshot. Oh my god. I said Ireshart. I'm so sorry. That was completely unintended. I hope that doesn't catch on. I apologize profusely in advance. I will do the Harakiri thing if that does take off because I will feel completely guilty. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. I hope you were doing well before that stupid little slip. My cape physics were just hilariously wonky today. Yeah, that kind of happens every once in a while. There is a mod that it gives you like I think like a power that you can activate that kind of just resets physics, but I think you can reset physics in the MCM menu anyway. And I haven't had an issue with it yet, but I did have it on my list to install alongside HDT.
Only through your grace and benevolence may we truly reach enlightenment.
My build called Andrus Angel. She's a vampire chaotic good going part of the Dawn Guard. Her gods has ordered destruction of all vampires in Skyrim and Solstheim. Awesome. That gives you a lot to do in the game for sure. Loud. Oh, they got you with a loud commercial, huh? Sorry about that. Yes, I love. It's okay. If it does, I can simply quit YouTube forever. Oh no. Yeah, I love Anai mods too. And I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 lately, and I can see the Diablo influences on like Ordinator and Imperius, and especially like Summer Mist now. Summer Mist has a lot of synergies in it where you can see like Anai's thought process on how these things should be working together. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And I think Anai also used to do Diablo 2 like overhauls, things like perk overhauls and gameplay overhauls and things like that. As a man?
And there it is, friends.
Oh. As man, ass man.
Talos is the true god of man.
Here it is, here it comes.
Ascended from flesh to rule the realm of spirit. The very
oh, I was waiting for Assman. This sounds like Assman.
To our elven overlords, sharing the heavens. With man,
We've all heard this enough times. I'm not going to I'm not gonna piss fart around Heimskr anymore. Combat mod are blade and blunt and wildcat. Nice. I think Maldaroth. I'm sorry, Maldaroth. I don't know why I said your name incorrectly. Macadamia is using blade and blunt right now. I haven't been in recently to see one of his streams to see what that's all about. They can barely tolerate Heimskr. The players can barely tolerate that guy. Heimskr is definitely an ass man for sure. Oh, thanks for the shout out for Ireshot. Ireshot streams all the time, and her stuff is really good. I think she's still working on a Wabbajag list. It's coming together really nicely, from what I can see. But she also plays other lists and things like that, and just it's a great variety channel, kind of a chill place to be. Do recommend. Let's see. There was an enchantment.
Take care of yourself
I do have to stop off at Proventius to. Oh no, I already had that dagger. Don't want to disenchant these because I'm still using them. Proventus. I don't know why I did that in the tune of Final Countdown. I have a terrible singing voice, so probably nobody else caught onto that. Did anybody watch the Summer Game Fest yesterday? I caught parts of it. I think I saw recaps of most of the stuff. There was some good stuff. I'm a Street Fighter fan, so getting Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranu from Fatal Fury in there, that's awesome. That when has that happened before besides CVS 2, which was like, I don't know, 20 or 30 years ago at this point?
Divines bless you. May
I don't know.
the
If we have any old
ground
arcade heads in here, Magus probably knows what I'm talking about with the fighting games. But yeah, Street Fighter's getting SNK characters in it for Season 2. I played Street Fighter 6 when it came out for a little bit. And I really, really liked it. I thought they did a really good job with the fighting system. Plays really well. The netcode is excellent if you want to play other people online. Lots of customization options that are kind of tied behind crappy, you know, live service season passes and things like that. So if you're not into that part of things, then yeah, there's still fun to be had there even without it. But I understand if that stuff turns your stomach a little bit. So I did really like it I played it for a couple weeks, and then Diablo 4 hit kind of around the same time, and I was trying to balance both of them, and then finally Diablo 4 just won for my attention. It's easier just to sit down and grind Diablo 4 than it is to sit down and have online matches and grind Street Fighter 6. It takes way more of your attention. You have to be very mentally acute to play a Street Fighter match where you can kind of just sit down, space out, and no brain it. I'm gonna go sell some stuff off to Farengar while I'm here. As far as Diablo 4 goes. So if you had a rough day at work, you're probably gonna have a better time playing Diablo 4 than Skyrim. Or not Skyrim, Street Fighter 6. So that's for me why Diablo won for my live service game over Street Fighter 6. Empty soul gems aren't doing us any good. I can enchant this ring for some enchanting leveling. I have a greater soul gem here I can spend on it too, so that's a lot of good leveling. Battle of Champions, beware the necromancers. Dark Brotherhood shoulder pad. I do have that carry weight capacity enchantment already. Anything else that I can sell off here? Apotheos scarf. Okay, let's enchant that silver ring while we're here, and we'll sell that off to him too, if he's got enough money for it. Or no, that's okay. I was gonna make some crafting gear out of it, but throw some carry weight on there. Wow, I didn't even get a full level for that. Yeah, well.
Come to Dragon's Reach to
spells and incantations for those.
James is gonna be back later. I only saw a couple of games that interested me, unfortunately. Hey, Karn, did you see my running theory comment? Running theory. The running theory is that the Greybeards are paying the assassins to test your strength. Ooh. Maybe. Like yeah, Fortius doesn't even know that the Greybeards are even a thing right now. Fortius's whole world was his father and learning how to fight and training for becoming a high-ranking officer in the Imperial Legion, right? Now that his father's dead, his father's kind of dying wish set him on the path of finding his own place, right?
You know, if you've got the aptitude,
so,
you should join the Mages College in Winter.
yeah, maybe the Greybeards know more about this prophesized thing of the Dragonborn, and that maybe Fortius. But the Greybeards are notoriously, they are ignorant. They like to stay ignorant of, you know, political goings on and things like that in the world below them. They're kind of just like, you know, way of the voice, Dragonborn, and that's kind of everything, right? So I'm not sure how they would know unless they, you know, had spies working to keep tabs on Fortius, like for his whole life, because there was some kind of like, when he was born or something, there was some kind of prophecy saying that he would be the last Dragonborn. Maybe.
They say the college has been snooping around.
Workshop that a little bit.
Mages in a burial. Take a look.
Okay, so right now I'm just trying to sell stuff off to boost up my gold stores a little bit for training. I'm getting at that level now where everything's starting to tick over to level 50, and at that point your training gets way more expensive. So yeah. Speaking of gold though, I can sell a lot of the sap to Isolde if I can find her. Usually she's piss farting around here, but sometimes she makes her way up toward the palace. The first Greybeard was a political warlord during the Dragon Wars. Was he now? Okay. Did not know the history of the Greybeards. Went like that. Okay, so speaking of the next modding profiles that I'm going to be working on, IED is one of them. That will probably help. That's a whole new thing to learn though. And if that is not, I would imagine that's compatible with 1597, right? That's a popular enough mod that they would backport that. Along with that, I think I want to remove, now that I have physics, I want to remove Cloaks of Skyrim and Winter is Coming, because now that I've seen the flowing capes, the stiff ones, they're an eyesore. They're a complete eyesore, right? Like, look at Gore over here with his, like, flowing capes, even though they're clipping through shit. And then look at this guy's. Especially on a player character, they look gross. I don't know. That would save me a few plugins, too, I guess. Even though it's not a problem for me yet. Where the hell am I going? Talking myself into circles here. Galabrand or Galebrand. Not really an Imperial style weapon, but very cool looking. I think I'll keep it. I'll go throw that. Oh, speaking of my Hearthfire home, I've been expanding that a little bit too. I'll show you guys that. But I do I want to sell off all my stuff. I want to get some more training before I level up. And then we'll go from there. Well, I do like and sometimes prefer Simon Rim. I spread the love. I also have a Valkyrie based in Irem list. Nice. I like to get crazy, so Ordinator for me, I like the full stuff. Gives me more options for different types of builds and enabling ideas and gameplay. Finding more synergies, things like that. Valkyrie does offer a more concise and balanced approach to things. I think Simon Rim normally does too, even though it does have more perks and stuff than a Valkyrie does. But I think Ordinator's my happy place. I might consider moving to Vocrinator or something like that, but I kind of like using the official NI stuff just because he's still updating that stuff. I think that there's a big Ordinator update coming before too long, and then he wants to do alchemy and an artifacts overhaul at some point too. So I don't want to go off into the offshoot territory too much while he's still messing with stuff.
Gods be praised.
No kidding about the cloaks. There's one that just makes my eyes bleed and that I used to love. It's long and it just stands there. Yeah, I think it was great back in 2012, back when we got those things. They're like, oh, we got cloaks. This is awesome. And then you kind of just dealt with cloaks sticking to your legs and just kind of bouncing off your heels and stuff. But now that we got the real stuff, it's hard to go back. Got to go do a thing. Going to stay here in the background though. No problem. No problem. Strudel with a busy Saturday. I got some stuff to do this Saturday. Doing a game night with some coworkers. I think they're just friends at this point, right? If you work with somebody for, oh God, how long has it been? It's been 17 years for me, over 17 years in this company. And you've worked with and for these people that long, and now it's like you're hanging out on the weekends and stuff. They're not just coworkers anymore. They're just friends. I don't know why I have to stipulate that they're coworkers. So we're going to game night. We're going to play some games, have some fun, like board games, card games, things like that. We do play video games from time to time. Play some driving games. Ordinator, Vokri, Percus, Adamant, Vanilla. That's a pretty good order. I changed my mind. I don't want to change your mind because I think I agree with you on that one. I don't always agree with Magus, but when I do, it's pretty much 100%. Ireshot agrees. Good. Might build a skeletal armory consisting of skeletal mages as in Altmarian Plaguecaster using Ordinator. Nice. There you go. Now you're talking. Percus Maximus is old but good perk system. Yeah, I mean, people still use Percus Maximus, right? I think when Ordinator came around, a lot of people jumped ship for good on Skyrim and Percus, right? But for a long time, that's all we had, and it was great. It was a huge improvement over Vanilla, I think, in many people's opinions. Ordinator just it added things to the game that weren't there before, and like I said, a lot of like the synergies and buildcraft and stuff that kind of spawned from a game like Diablo, which was, you're not going to roleplay Diablo, right? You're going to grind Diablo and find these synergies between skill points and things like that, and that's what that game is all about. It brought it to a new audience with Skyrim, and it's like, oh wow, this is crazy. I can do all kinds of awesome stuff, and it's like now buildcraft is its own thing in Skyrim, where it like probably wasn't before. In terms of gameplay, you could always do like roleplay concepts and things like that in Skyrim. That was always the case, but with Ordinator and the Anirim overhauls, it really took that to the next level, to where now these things that you were role-playing and these things that you were making believe to do, now you could just actually do them in game, and it was awesome. Okay, how is my money coming along? I'm just kind of aimlessly wandering around Whiterun right now, talking to you guys, which is great. This is why I stream, right, instead of just do pre-recorded stuff, so I can hang out with you guys. But I end up becoming like an aimless wandering mess sometimes. Oh, there's Isolde. We were looking for
Once I've made
Isolde.
enough money trading with the Khajiit caravans, I'm going to buy the bannered mare from Hold.
I gotta read that note first. And I gotta get a mammoth tusk from... Gore. Give me some speech training.
So I could... Did you? So
Yeah, boy.
Ulag didn't make it past those giants then?
She's pretty.
More's the pity. If you found any of the sap, I'd be willing to pay you the same cut I offered him. Better price than you're likely to find otherwise.
Okay. I have some sleeping tree sap to sell.
Ah, of course. How much have you got?
Take it all. There are some pluses and minuses to just using that as a potion. Regular potions will always do a better job than the sleeping tree stuff. The big reason that you'd want to hold on to the sleeping tree sap is if you are running immersive armors.
Very good.
That Apotheos set, in order to temper it, you need the sap. So we're not using that because we're heavy armor only.
See you.
Let's see. Where did Gore go? I don't know. We'll catch up. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
I know he has one of the mammoth tusks that I harvested. We'll use those to take our relationship with Isolde to the next step.
All right then.
The next level.
They say there's nothing a Nord woman can't do if she puts her mind to it.
Sounds kinky. All right. You're looking to become a merchant.
Before my ma-and-da passed, I told
You
them
like
that
the
one
spear?
day
Yeah, the spear is cool. I have
I'd become the
animations
best
for it
trader in
too.
Skyrim. I met one
I'll
of
show
the
you in a
caravan
second.
leaders, Madron. He said he'd help me get
Good old
started
Isolde,
if I
the
could
drug
bring
vendor.
him
Yep.
a man's tusk. Easier said than done.
She'll get you hooked on her and her special sauce that she tries to sell you.
You do that? If you find one, I could teach you a thing or two about trading.
Yeah, I'll show you the animations here in a second, Joe. I like the spear too.
Thank you. As promised, let me show you a thing or two about bargaining. Don't want some shifty merchant giving you a raw trade.
There we go. We get some speech training, and now she's available for marriage too. If we have an amulet of Mara, Porteous isn't in that state of mind yet. Yeah, so we have a spear with spear idols, spear animations, side attacks, power attacks. You can bash. Still works with the block. And I don't know why I am so obsessed with the combination of the cloak and the spear, but it just looks really cool. I don't know. New toys to play with. Maybe other people don't find it as cool because they've been using this stuff for a long time, but I don't know. For me, I have simple tastes. You give me a flowing cape and a spear that I can stab a giant in the butt crack with. I'm a happy guy. Didn't know you could marry Isolde? Really? Yeah. She is one of the vanilla marriage candidates. You just have to do her little mammoth tusk quest and then wear your amulet of Mara and approach her, and she'll be she's DTM, down to marry. Drove 6 hours and listened to Character Crusade. Yeah, I did that too. I drove down the West Coast from Oregon to Arizona. Listened to Character Crusade the whole time. It still holds up. Like, if you just need a refresher course on roleplay and Skyrim, that playlist, that's a nice treasure trove of knowledge. And then just hearing the live conversation between Stu and Joe on how they've implemented things like that and their sort of experiences and their lessons learned from all that is very, very enlightening. So I do highly recommend that. Character Crusade playlist on Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. Quillowin heading out. Talk to you later. Okay, see you around. Thanks for stopping by. Good talking with you. Thanks for the ideas and stuff. Okay. So what next? Oh yeah, we're still selling stuff off. I am really piss farting around here. I'm in the wrong area. Adrian has gone inside, so we're not going to get the benefit of 2 vendors in one spot, but that's okay. Couch Warrior, never forget. Well, I mean, he's still around, right? He's doing music stuff, and I've actually used a couple of his ambient music tracks in some of my videos. They're really good for ambient stuff, for sure. But I do miss the Skyrim stuff from him, for sure. Anything else here I can sell off? The iron stuff and the regular steel stuff I don't need anymore. Orcish helmet of major alchemy. Created potions are 17% more powerful. Should I keep this and use it for alchemy 17%? Is that worth having an ugly ass helmet that I have to put on every time I want to mix up a potion? Nah, I already have the enchantment. I disenchanted something like that already. I'll be fine. It's not worth all the deliberation on that. And besides, right now I need the money for training anyway.
Good doing business with you.
Bayo came back after almost 4 years, 3 years, yeah. Yeah, you never know. Might not be goodbye, might just be see you later. Even though it might be much later.
Let me know if you see.
You never know where your obsessions are gonna take you, right?
Hello, friend. In the market for some hunting supplies? Bows and arrows for the mighty.
And Stu seems like one of those guys that he'll find a new hobby or whatever that captures his interest and his passions, and he will dive in head first all the way 100% and just completely immerse himself in it for, you know, a couple years and then move on to something else. And I think Bayo kind of probably does the same thing too, even though Bayo was out of the Skyrim scene for a while. You know that he was focusing on other things. He was like doing like 3D modeling art or playing other games and everything, and it just maybe whatever he was doing wasn't really compatible with everybody else's Skyrim passions. And sometimes, you know, you just need to isolate for a little while and figure yourself out. I've been there before, for sure. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong or anything you gotta fix. It's just sometimes you just need to go your own path. Balls deep? Yes. Balls deep.
Welcome. Let me know if you
So
want
anybody into the new Elden Ring expansion? Elden Ring does have a lot of parallels with Skyrim in terms of like deep lore and world building and open world sort of like mixtures of high and low fantasy. Interesting magic systems and things like that. Skyrim and Elden Ring have a lot in common. It's the, you know, do you like Souls-like combat or do you like the sort of open-ended Skyrim combat? Elden Ring, I loved it. I played it. It took me almost 200 hours to beat it, and I did a lot of sort of open world exploration on it. Is a bit ADHD like that. Yeah. It took me 200 hours to roll credits on it, but I'm glad I did. It took me the better part of a year to do it because, you know, it's a lot. It'll make you sweaty. It's not one of those sit down and relax type games where, you know, Skyrim can be like a Zen-like experience, right? It doesn't have to be as sweaty as I make it. Oh, you don't want to sit down next to me, Gore?
Sadia, wake up, dear. Yes,
I wasn't gonna like hold hands with you or anything.
You want a drink?
Jeez.
Depends. Are you thirsty? Hungry?
But there's this new expansion coming out and it looks amazing. My problem with it is I remember how hard Elden Ring was and how amazing it felt to beat it, and now I don't want to put myself through that again with you know, more challenges and things like that and more to learn. The game is huge, it's deep in terms of both lore and like gameplay systems and things like that. Get some wine while we're here too. We don't need the fancy stuff. Let's just get the village red. There we go.
All right.
So I don't know that I'm going back for the expansion. I might change my mind when I see other people playing it or whatever, but grew tired of Elden Ring for the same reason. Yeah, it's a lot. It almost feels like a job at some point, because it's like you are constantly improving and trying, and it's like if you're trying to no-brain that game, you're gonna die absolutely immediately on the very first character every single time, and that can be deflating for sure. But you also feel like Godzilla or King Kong when you actually beat the game, or beat one of even just the mid-level bosses or whatever. So the highs are really high, the lows are really low, but
Take a look.
there's a lot of wiki research that you have to do just to get through that game. It's extremely difficult, if not nearly impossible, to just get through that game raw without looking anything up. So there is a lot of research that goes along with playing that game. A lot like Skyrim. I mean, you can spend an entire week on the Skyrim wikis and still not learn everything there is to know about the game and the world and the lore and different things you can do with the engine and things like that. It's kind of a bottomless pit. All right, we got anything else to sell this guy? I did want to keep Galabrand. I'll put that in my chest over at Lakeview. Is there anything else here? Potent magic of poison. Don't really need that. It could come in handy, but I'd rather just do pure damage than try to sap somebody's magicka. Everything else here I can use. Keep the Haunting Brew mead for that free enchanted ring next time I see him. The Flawless Amethyst I'm keeping for what's his name and Riften. The jeweler. Okay, I think that's about everything.
Do come.
So total haul 64.55. I think I was around 1,000 before, so a little over 5,000. That's a pretty good haul for one giant run, right? Hey, there's Boone. Welcome, welcome. Elden Ring looks fantastic, but is so stressful and all about boss fight strategies. Hello, Karn114. You all right? I am good. I'm better than all right. If you would have asked me a couple days ago or even yesterday, I would have said I'm absolutely tired and beaten down from a hectic, busy, long work week, but got a good night of sleep last night. I'm playing my favorite game with some of my favorite people, and everything is right with the world again. Skyrim is pretty forgiving to casual play, which is what I like about it. Absolutely. Elden Ring is not. There are no difficulty settings, no mods that make the game easier or anything like that. You can hack the game, but there's not really much of a modding community for it. Yeah, EJ, do you have any recommendations for good quality Skyrim Let's Plays going besides yours? Yes, Joe mentioned EJ. EJ, I think it's like EJ the Skyrim player or something like, or EJ plays Skyrim or something like that. I don't know if I have the link to his stuff in my description, but yeah. EJ does the production. He'll write his own music to go along with the themes and everything, and yeah, just multiple characters like Couch Warrior used to have, all different like branching storylines and things like that. So yeah, EJ, definitely. EJ and Skyrim, there you go. Thanks, Magus. And the link right there, Panicked Monk. Look at you. I do have it linked. I thought I did. Cool. So, and then what else? Yeah, Joe has a great roleplay. His is more single player focused on the one character, even though I think he had some issues with the save and he's starting over now. The Einarath series is good. If you like the Character Crusade stuff, that was one of the characters that he kept mentioning in that playthrough, or in that playlist. So it was kind of cool to see him implement that character in real time. taking into considerations all those tips that they were presenting in that podcast. Who else does the... Oh yeah, Boone23 is here in the chat. His is more of an exploration of Skyrim than it is like a heavy roleplay telling a story stuff, but if I learn stuff from his videos all the time. He presents these things as like these bigger epic challenges, and then he'll go through and like one of his characters right now, which I think he's kind of putting on the shelf for a little bit, was the Indigo Black and the Secrets of Skyrim, where he goes and tries to find all the hidden thieves caches and all these different places, which is very interesting because that's something I've never done. So seeing all those pop up was really good. And he's got an Altmer Mage going on right now. I think that's his permadeath challenge that he's doing, which has also been interesting. And like me, he plays on legendary difficulty, except his is the vanilla legendary difficulty. So enemies are a little more spongy than they are with Wildcat. Do I have anything else to sell? I think we're good. Let's do some training now. Training. Let's see. Do I want to do heavy armor? I think I just did block, and that took me up to over 50 in block. So block is expensive now. I think heavy armor, two-handed, maybe even one-handed are where I want to go with this. Maybe even archery. Let's do archery since Ayla's here.
I've heard you may actually... I'll show you what I know.
2,000 archery. We'll take archery up to 50. Okay, that's going to get much more expensive on the next round here. Level it up. Yeah, so now I'm going to be focusing on health. I'll probably do 4 to 1 health because I think my stamina pools are in a pretty good place now. And then maybe I can get Magus to stop giving me crap about my stamina to health ratio here for a warrior. Fat chance, I know, but maybe. We'll see. Okay, let's see here. Let's see, I have 4 to 5 perks in each one of these so far. Yes, very spongy. Already sub to Joe. He's doing great, in my opinion. Great. Most other people are live streamers over on Twitch, and you can find all their stuff. So there is some roleplay stuff, like Magus. I think he's rebuilding his own list at the moment, but I feel like he's turning a corner and gonna be ready soon. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I feel like it's probably next week. Magus will be back in action over on Twitch, and his link is in the description. So live streams there. The Wind, 57 Strudel, if you don't mind reading. That's all roleplay stuff, and you know, that's kind of high production quality stuff there too, with the written word. Lots of different characters, branching paths, and things like that. What am I gonna do here? Heavy armor is good. So okay, let's talk about goals, where I want to get to with these things. What I really want for heavy armor right now is this Out of the Inferno, where I'm going to get really good magic resistance, or actually elemental resistance. This doesn't give me just a straight up magic resistance number. This is going to give me fire, frost, and shock elemental resistance as a fraction of my armor rating. And I'm not sure if this actually caps out at the armor cap, or I actually get resistances all the way up past the armor cap for all the armor that I'm having. So if that's the case, then going past the armor cap would be, you know, actually very valuable. But I want to get here for that. That's kind of the next big one that I'm going for. Rallying Standard is great if I have a buddy, which I do, and I forgot to use Rallying Standard in my fight with those giants and the mammoths, but that would have helped. Block. I am trying to get to the Unstoppable Force here, which is like your shield sprint, where you can run through people. Magus used that to great effect in his last character, his Orc Dwemer Scholar Warrior guy, which was great. So I can take Skull Rattler. The Power Bashing I'm not really into because, while it does have some great effects, it is a little bit slower than the regular bash, and a regular bash does a stagger anyway, so regular old bash is just as powerful on its own. Bashing deals more damage, nice to have, but again, not necessary. it enables our offense instead of, you know, providing the damage. And this other one, which is very situational, interrupting an attack with a power bash with a shield knocks the opponent down. A knockdown is even better than a stagger because they, you know, they take a long time to get up. But this can only be used once every 30 seconds, and timing that power bash to interrupt an attack on purpose is kind of tough. I feel like there's some kind of process that I can follow as far as, you know, maybe a regular bash to cause a stagger and then waiting a second and then unleashing with the power bash when I think the enemy is going to attack might work more often than not. Or maybe after like a two-handed power attack that causes a stagger, do a power bash right after, and that could interrupt like a regular attack that the enemy tries to do afterwards. Maybe I can get it to work and be more consistent. But yeah, I would be happy to spend 4 perks just to get to Unstoppable Force, even if I'm not using any of these other perks in combat, you know? Dominion will also help too. I don't know that it's completely necessary, but this will help with those flank attacks and surprise attacks and getting surrounded and things like that. Just if you're blocking, you take 25% less damage, and that is on top of your damage reduction that you get from your armor already, so... Nice stacking little bonus there. So I could take, what is this, Skull Rattler? But that would be more just to get closer to the shield sprint. It wouldn't really give me anything too useful right now, except for a little more damage for those. Ferocious Strength. I could go Ramming Speed on this one. Can perform a two-handed sprinting power attack that deals up to 50% more damage and critical damage to a target above half health. This is a great opener if you have a tank to, you know, take some of the heat off of you while you're sprinting in and doing this very long winding up power attack. The higher the remaining health percentage, the more damage and critical damage is dealt. This is actually great. I'm actually, for dragons and stuff that land, and while they're still like in their landing animation and stuff, you can get this queued up. That would be great against dragons, which in another 3 levels, we're going to be having word wall dragons pretty soon here. So there's that. Dual wield we're not using. Block and block bashing is too valuable to do that. Overrun, same thing with one-handed. So I like these sprinting power attack perks for this character concept, because in my mind, a warrior should be able to pick up and be deadly with any weapon that he picks up, right? So I'm more apt to pick up these general perks that affect all one-handed and two-handed weapons than I am to kind of get into specific weapon trees, at least at this point. Because, yeah, I want to be able to use a lot of different weapons. I want to be able to switch out between them in combat as the need presents itself. That, to me, is the identity of the warrior. That's the X factor of the warrior that other classes don't have, because they tend to specialize in certain weapons. So, yeah, these sprinting attacks, especially the two-handed one, I would like to grab. But also, for two-handed, this Massacre subtree here is great. So you 175% increased attack speed for 3 seconds. So this is like an Elemental Fury spell, the Shout. But I think it works with enchanted weapons as well. And you can take a perk here where it gets rid of that percentage, and every first attack that you make with a two-handed weapon, it will proc it with a 30-second cooldown. But what I really want to get to here is this Voice of Rage and Ruin. So you get a small percentage chance swinging a two-handed weapon to proc your currently equipped power. So you can have like the Allstone, or the Allstones, the Allmaker Stones. You just have like a power ready to go, or like one of the more powerful Andromeda powers, like the Lord Stone, like the one that does like the earthquake effect, have that procced off. So if you're like doing like, I don't know, 10 attacks per second with a two-handed weapon, then you have basically a 40% chance in that second to proc off that earthquake power. But it has to be a power. The shouts don't work for this, which is kind of sad. But there are some very powerful powers that you get through Imperius, Andromeda, the Allmaker Stones have some good stuff. Yeah, so that's where I want to get to there. So that's probably the perk that I'm going to take for that one. And then Archery, I'm really trying to get to Trick Arrows, because this synergizes really well with smithing. If I can craft all my arrows, and I already have all these crafting materials anyway because I'm always making new weapons, then this really tracks really well on like a conceptual roleplay level, that he would also be able to forge his own crazy arrows and stuff at a forge. And there's some really powerful ones here. The force ones, the orc arrows that cause like kind of like an explosion and cause everybody to knock down, is a really, really good way to transition from ranged combat with the bow and arrow into melee combat. So if you have 3 or 4 enemies rushing you as an archer, just target this orcish force arrow at the ground. They're all gonna explode. It's gonna explode in front of them. They're all gonna fall down like Ring Around the Rosie, and then that's when you switch into your melee weapon and start charging in, taking that advantage. So that's where I'm going there. Hunter's Discipline I already have, but I gotta wait till level 80. Beyond that, Clean Kill is also really good. We're gonna get 20% more damage to people that we haven't shot yet or have been damaged yet. So that's a really good way to open up combat with an extra 20% strength too. But I think right now I'm more focused on this Furious Strength and this ramming speed. This would have come in really handy with the mammoth fights that I had earlier, where Gore was, tanking against the mammoths, and I had that opportunity to do that sprinting power attack. This would have done so much more damage with that spear attack. One thing I want to see here, though, is now that I have that sprinting power attack, what does it look like? Does it switch back to the vanilla animation? I've had that happen before. No, it still takes its new one. Good, good, good. Don't do what? This is the training yard. What am I supposed to do in the training yard if not train? Okay, Vilcus, two-handed. Let's see, what's the lowest? Two-handed is already up at 50. That would be very expensive. Heavy armor, I got 3 more levels here. Smithing, I'm way over the mark on 50. So I think heavy armor is the next one. I can take a couple levels here, but I'm gonna run out of money.
Come to me with questions. It's all in the swing. Let me show you.
Vilcus is two-handed. I gotta find Farkas for heavy armor. He must be inside. I don't see him around here anywhere. Hey, the End King. Welcome, buddy. I did not see you slip in. Sorry if I missed you. And James is back. James is back, everybody.
And my brother has his
my test character for Einarath's mod setup is a heavy armor greatsword fighter, and the hits are colossal, but there are definite weaknesses in those early levels for sure. Yeah, it's the startup of those attacks is more killer than anything. You have to be really good about your ranges.
I'll show you what I can about
because
yourself.
Two-handed weapons do have more range. Yeah, I'm bleeding coins here now after from 50 to 51 is a huge jump. Yep, there we go. Hey, we got all 5 levels though. All right, now we're back in money-making mode. Let's see here, 6:04 p.m. So I do have time to go show off my Hearthfire home and my money farm that I've built up there and some other things that I'm doing. So many great YouTubers in here. You attract very interesting people, Karn. I've saved a few links to give a look at later. Pretty cool. Yes, indeed. I have been involved in content creation for Skyrim for a long time, even though I've been doing it for a long time too, but I've only begun taking it seriously in the last few years. But yeah, it's kind of a tight-knit little circle, you know. If you spend time with these people that have these shared interests, you're gonna strike up friendships because you have so many commonalities, right? You have shared love of certain things. You're going to get to know some people. And it is a pretty tight community, so you do get to know these people, and then you all hang out in each other's streams, and you bounce ideas off of each other and things like that. It's a good thing to have on a personal level, and as a growing as on more of the technical aspects and networking aspects as well. But just being more social in general, and having friends that are people you can have positive experiences with, especially in this day and age, is it's hard to overstate just how important that is, I think.
Oh, the warm sand of elsewhere. Take a look.
Let's see. I don't have any money to really buy anything good, but if he's got, let's see, cork bulb root is really good for creating arrows of paralysis. But I can make paralysis poisons if I need to. Making the arrows that do paralysis is actually more on message for a warrior. If he can make something at a forge, he'd much rather do that than make it at an alchemy table. Item azure. Yeah, there's what I'm really looking for here are stoneflower petals. I think the Daedra venom, gold cannet flower, and there's something else, and those give you like a 50% increase to crafting potions, which is a huge buff. That I'll spend money on right now, but those aren't one of them. What am I doing? Oh yeah, let's go down to Falkreath. Actually, we'll take the carriage over here to the Lake Ilinalta stop, and then we can just head up the hill from there, and I can show you my house. Cork bulb arrows work on undead too? That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's great. See, Boone is like a wealth of knowledge. He doesn't do much in terms of like modding and things like that. Like, he doesn't really dip his toes into Ordinator too much. But with the AE update, there is a lot of nuance that they added to Skyrim. What the hell is going on over there? Oops, did not mean to hit that button. It's okay, it was just a minor potion anyway. Do a quick save here just in case get a little crashy or something. This is kind of an experimental new mod profile for me. But I think I've gotten the kinks worked out at this point. I have done a few Daedric quests, and Zim's Immersive Artifacts is something that I wanted to test out because there were some pretty heavy patching. Oh, what's with all this fire? Oh, vigilance. Okay. Wow, he's a high-ranking vigilant with that armor. I usually don't see these guys walking around in that kind of armor. It's usually the chainmail stuff. Anyway, yeah, with the full AE upgrade, they did add a lot of nuance to Skyrim that people who don't want to mod got access to. And finding all like the little intricacies and all those new creations that were added in, Boone has been definitely an asset, an educational asset for me, following his different series where he makes use of these different AE items in different ways. I always learn something about, you know, whether it's the fishing stuff or whether it's, you know, the Gallows Hall, or where you find that bone helm. Okay, so here is my money-making factory. Yeah, this is a Hearthfire home. I guess it would be better to show you guys off in better lighting, but it's humble right now. Pretty much I've just set this up to have a greenhouse and a garden where I'm doing mostly dragon tongue, fly amanita, and mora tapanella, and this allows us to create a a potion that actually is quite useful for a two-handed warrior because it gives you stamina regeneration, fire resistance, and two-handed damage. Which is all great, but you can also sell it for just an ungodly amount of money because of how many different effects they provide. So the one nuance to this is that Mora Tapanella, you can only harvest 3 at a time from each one of these plots. And then Dragon's Tongue and Fly Amanita, you get to harvest 4. So to get a sort of equal-ish amount of each one of those, you want to plant 3 Mora Tapanella for every 4 Dragon Tongue and Fly Amanita potion or ingredient that you plant. So if you get the ratios right, you'll get something that is pretty close to equal, and then you can just mass create these, and you'll level up your alchemy skill really quickly. You'll have a vast amount of really expensive potions that you can sell off for a huge amount of gold, and you'll also have useful potions. There's a variant involving, I think, Creep Cluster, which adds some negative effects to it as well. But if you do it this way, you'll actually get some useful potions for if you're a two-handed warrior, which we are. So then it's 2 birds, 1 stone, right? You get to buff yourself up in combat, and or you get to sell them off. You get to sell your extra ones off for gold and speech training. And so, yeah, more in the greenhouse here as well. This is something that Major Slack will do at the beginning of every character. You don't have to do it if you're doing a role play. This is more kind of like power leveling type stuff. But if you're going to be using the house anyway, you may as well do it early on. Here is my armory, which I've been working on. I really need some lighting in this place here too, which I'll probably do that off stream. I want to do more fighting on stream here. This is the armory. This is the armor plate gear that I was wearing. I was able to kill my nemesis to get this. And I do have a Thorns effect now from that nemesis. These were the weapons and shield that he was wielding. There was a legendary sword, a legendary spear. I think on the sword I had a stacking poison enchantment. On the spear I had damage armor, so it would drain armor from that. And on the shield I think I just had on the shield I think I had a prismatic effect enchanted on that. So yeah, that was me just a little while ago. Now we're in our steel phase. Other than the helmet, looks pretty cool. And we'll be graduating to the dwarven phase here pretty soon. I already have the perk, which is why Gore is wearing the dwarven gear. I kind of want to have Gore be one phase ahead of me the whole time, because he's still my mentor. Officially, roleplay wise, he's my mentor. So he should be a level above me in terms of gear, I think. Makes a little bit of sense. So when I graduate to Dwarven, I'm going to put this steel set on a mannequin display in the armory. I will go and get the enchanted Dwarven plate set. I think I can kick off that quest from the Silverblood Inn in Markarth, and I will wear that, and then we'll go find, or I'll take the next material type in smithing, which I think is Orcish, and I will let Gore don the Orcish set. Okay, what's left? Well, I think let's go see if Holda has any more jobs in Whiterun for us to do. We need to go back into money-making phase. Most of our crops are not ready to harvest yet, so we'll let those grow in. Probably only another day or two on that. What a manly interior design. Yeah, it's pretty sparse right now. No lighting, no furniture, just weapons and planters everywhere. So let's go see if we got any more bounties. Maybe there's another giant bounty. Now that we know that we can take on giants without too much trouble, as long as we keep our defenses up, we should be fine. Maybe they'll have another bounty.
Take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. I'm telling you, I heard it. How?
Yeah, we got another job here. What kind of job we got now?
Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty.
What home is that? That is a Hearthfire home. That was Lakeview Manor. So right now I have the armory built. It's not completely fleshed out yet, and I have a greenhouse with all the planters in it, but I will be working as we go to add some of the more, you know, homely necessities.
Of course.
Oh, I also got
Need anything
favor
else?
with
Just let me
Kinnereth
know.
up to 100 and beyond. So now I have a wolf mount that I can summon, which I should have been using this whole time, but I keep forgetting about. So there are two things I keep forgetting about here. There is the wolf mount that I can use. We'll show that off when we go take on this next bounty. And there is the banner. Rallying standard here that we should be using as well. So while we're out here, let's go ahead and find a nice little patch to pop a squat and pray to Kinnereth. And this gives me a little ball here that I can activate to summon my mount. It's a pretty cool little mount too. It doesn't work with convenient horses or anything, so if you're running convenient horses, eventually you're going to want to use an actual horse. But it gives you a nice option while you're leveling and stuff and spending money on equipment and training. Alright, so what is that next bounty? Kill the giant located at Secunda's Kiss, which is out to the west here still, I believe, right? Or is that one actually... I don't have it activated, I guess? I do have it activated. How come it's not showing up? Oh, yeah, it's coming off of the mountain where Bleak Falls is. Okay. We'll do that tomorrow morning. Let's go get some rest now. We'll get a free bed at Jorvaskr. Gore doesn't like Jorvaskr. He has kind of a shifty, shady history with them. But he does understand that Fortius is learning a lot from them in terms of training and things like that. It takes a village to raise an epic legendary warrior. They're made, not born, right? So he is going to swallow that personal jagged pill in order for Fortius to thrive. Elves' ears turn into archery potions, so make sure we have those. Yeah, let's get an early start here. We'll do 10 hours, which will be up. It'll get us up at 6 a.m. And when you're doing hard training, you need a lot of sleep. So 10 hours is a pretty solid night for somebody who's doing a lot of physical activity. You need that extra time to let your body recover and let those muscles grow back, repair themselves. Mild hunger and moderate thirst. Do some vegetable soup. Drink some skooma for breakfast. No, I gotta sell that off. There we go. So are you buying Gore's gear, creating it yourself, or consoling it in? I created this stuff because I do have the Dwarven material perk. So I created that for him. I was going to put it on myself, but then I came up with this idea of each equipment type being a rite of passage and then being able to find the enchanted set that is provided with the creation. I want to do all that for Fortius, but I can craft up the next set for Gore. Whoa, okay, we were freaking out with the physics there a little bit. That's okay. We recovered. No problemo. One more prey to Kinnereth. Actually, we should do that outside the walls so that I can use the mount to head over to Secunda's Kiss.
Is everyone in the city knows your name. Some people don't like it.
How are my needs doing? Look like we're okay. Weakness to fire comes along with that buff to fire. Like Lake Hill and Alta. Yeah, that's probably the one with the prettiest scenery, in my opinion. Hey, the wind is here. Welcome, welcome, wind. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. I usually don't. Okay, sorry about that. I've been rambling off. I haven't been keeping up with chat. Don't play two-handed characters, so it's so your skills are a little off. Is that what I saw? Panic Monk says, I usually don't play two-handed characters, so yeah, my attacks are really off. I always overcharge. Yeah, finding your range, we were talking about, you do get a little extra range from the two-handed stuff that you don't get from the quicker one-handed weapons. So there is a range where you can find that you're out of range of other enemies, but you're within. Yeah, it's really hard to find, especially when both characters are moving around and everything. And overcharging, yeah, you'll start adjusting. You'll start over adjusting too, and you'll be undercharging a lot at some point too. But yeah. First ever playthrough was Ordinator. I love Ordinator, but the channel developed in a different way, and now I'm just the solo vanilla super hard challenge guy. There's a niche for that for sure, right? There was Bad Company Sarge, which I know you have a history with. That's okay. But he was doing that kind of stuff before he quit Skyrim and got kind of snooty about, you know, how he's done everything there is to do in Skyrim, and he just hasn't. He just hasn't. But that's okay. He doesn't want to play Skyrim anymore, whatever. Since then, I can't think. Major Slack does hardcore challenges in Skyrim, vanilla Skyrim 2. But and I don't know if he moved on to Starfield, but I don't think I've seen as many Skyrim videos from him lately. I think he moved on from Skyrim just to come back for the AE edition or something, but I think I've seen more Starfield content from him than Skyrim content lately. So there's definitely a niche, a vacuum to be filled there for people, especially for people who are just now discovering this game, which, you know, new people are every day. And some people just are vanilla holdouts, you know, console players, things like that. Bookie Karn mathing his agriculture. Yes, indeed, ratios. ratios everywhere. Is Gore the Marvel character, or is the name just a coincidence? I think the name is just a coincidence. I think technically the Gore character came first. The Marvel character came first in the comics, but this Gore came from interesting NPCs much earlier than the Gore character did in the movies. Wait, that wasn't Marvel, was it? That was DC. I think that was Black Adam where Gore was, or am I getting things mixed up? I might be getting things mixed up. Movie, I remember it being good, but not that good. To remember everything or to watch it more than once. He just needs some sort of console and one of those. Yeah, and then he's got himself a nice man cave. Bad Company Sarge, never heard of him. Is Slacktill still? I don't know. He stopped doing Skyrim, and then he started doing Skyrim, and now I don't know if he's still doing Skyrim. No, he definitely hasn't done everything in Skyrim. Yeah, Bad Company Sarge, he had some moderately successful build guides for vanilla Skyrim for a long time. These days, his channel is focused on other things, and he's got a lot more subscribers, and he has views for those. But yeah, for the old school stuff, if you're into vanilla builds, there is some value there, I would say. Gore the God Butcher, Marvel Comics. Okay. What movie was he in recently? Because I'm thinking Black Adam, but that's got to be something else. Black Adam was DC. What movie was Gore in just recently within the last few years? It was one of the smaller characters. Was it Moon Knight? No, Moon Knight was a series on the Disney Channel, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't keep up with this stuff. All right, let's see. We'll pray. We'll get that Kirkram. No, not the Kirkram. That's just a wolf. Oh, it's not a wolf. It's a saber cat. Awesome. Check this out. Thanks, Mama Kinnereth. This is cool as hell. This comes from Winter Sun. This is part of worshipping Kinnereth. Man, this would be cool as hell for like a druid character. My druid character could shapeshift into a deer and could move much faster than this, but for some other type of nature type character, this would be excellent. Beats walking, huh? Oh, another saber cat. Dang. Take care of that saber cat first. One more shot. Come on. There we go. And you. Okay. Pit wolf, huh? Thor: Love and Thunder. Thank you. There it was. Yeah, that movie was all right. I feel like the newness and excitement has worn off of the Marvel stuff ever since they got rid of all the, not got rid of, but have made it through all of the exposition stuff. In my opinion, superhero stuff, the best part of it is the exposition. It's how these characters came to be. It's their origin stories. And if you're gonna have like this long like saga verse of you know, different characters and all in the same universe and things like that without a reboot, you only get like one shot at those origin stories, and then it's like things become less interesting, in my opinion. Then you got to kind of focus on villains, and then your movie kind of lives and dies. If you already know the main character, the protagonist, then most of the interest lies in the challenges that come from an interesting villain. So at that point, your movie lives and dies by the villain. And I feel like in Thor: Love and Thunder, they didn't really focus on gore much at all, and the villain itself was, the way they implemented it anyway, was very cookie cutter. There was this there's always this thing in, you know, these average to below superhero movies where, or not even just superhero movies, but like horror movies with like villains and stuff, where they give the villain proper motivation to do the evil things that they're doing. In my opinion, having the villain just be evil is more impactful. If you're sympathizing with the villain, then it's like you're taking away the motivation from, like, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and really rooting for the superhero. Sometimes you're kind of rooting for the villain, which was cool to a certain extent, but like now every movie is doing it. They're making you giving you this like false sense of conflict of who do you root for. I think that villains that you root for can be done well in the case of like Breaking Bad, right? Or anti-heroes like Wolverine can be done really well. He's had better representations in the comics than he has in the movies for sure, but he's a very good classic anti-hero with a dark side. But like going back to classic literature, like Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Dracula was the embodiment of all the evil in the world, funneling itself into this one entity and creating a real threat to human life on Earth through the way that he was able to infect other people with this vampire epidemic that they were all trying to stop. So that was very much good versus evil. You knew who was good, you knew who was evil, and you knew the stakes of letting evil win. And so it became much more tense, and you were able to throw all of your support behind the protagonists, and it for me, that made that story even that much more effective. And then when they made the movie adaptation of it, they gave Dracula a reason to do the bad things that he did that made him a sympathetic character instead of somebody to be feared. And they completely they ruined the backbone of that story for it. All right, here's this giant. I feel like we can take on this giant without drawing the ire of the other one over there. So let's get buffed up. Don't need any resistances for this one. Venom isn't gonna help us much. Heavy armor, block, regenerate stamina. I think I have some two-handed, maybe I don't have any two-handed stuff. I think I sold them all off. Oh no, I do have Berserker. Fortified two-handed, here we go. Do a quick save just in case we crash or something goes horribly, horribly wrong. All right, I can use this terrain around me to act as roadblocks. Gore, are we tanking? Doing almost no damage with this. Ooh, okay. Don't let him stomp. I should have bashed him out of that stomp. Okay, let's get back in here. Get him, Gore. Even with a timed block, it took 75%, if not more, of my life. Whew. Okay, now we know what the stakes are. Doing these giant bounties here. Okay, my heart's pounding a little bit. So they came for Skyrim and views dropped after, 100%. Major Slack returned, but he hasn't put anything out in a couple of months or so. Thor, Love and Thunder, yes. If I recall correctly, using the Bosmer racial from Imperius, you can even ride the deers? You can? I'll have to try that. I didn't know that was a thing. That's cool, though. Is it a new bow? This one is not a... This is from Immersive Weapons. It's the spring steel bow. I just thought that it fit the steel theme that we had going on here with the steel soldier stuff. So it's not new. Immersive Weapons have been around forever. New to Fortius? No, not so much. He's been using this for a while too. Giant Ire, yes. Not to be confused with Ire Shot. Warm but not hot. Hot sands are not fun. No, they are not. I see a warm sands. That must be Tom. Hey, Tom. Been a while, I think. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yes, nobody wants hot sands. Like that bow. I used it before too. Yeah, it's a cool bow. And as long as you have a steel smithing perk, you can create it. And you can find it on like soldiers and bandits and things like that at a certain level. It's not completely uncommon, but it is a good looking bow. I like it. It can be powerful too. Once you get that steel smithing perk, you can temper it pretty well. Okay. Shall I press my luck? We have recovered. I think there's a chest up here somewhere too. All right, let's get it going. I think my potions may have worn off. Okay, yeah, that stomp attack is what got us last time. There we go. Yeah, that sprinting power attack, man, that's taking a nice juicy chunk. I like it. It was a good pick. And Gore, now that we're doing more offensive damage, Gore is taking much less punishment as well. So, yeah, good offense is a good defense. Good defense is a good offense. Or best defense is a good offense. Best offense is a good defense. If you're doing it right, you should be using them both. In tandem. Wow, that was a really crappy chest. They really should put a boss chest over here. Because that was... that was not worth it. Is there another cave? I thought there was a cave or something over here. I think I might be thinking of the one over by the ritual stone. There's another giant encampment right up in this area, I think. And that one does have a cave in the side of the mountain, but I don't think there's one over here. Could be mistaken. Sprinting power attack is beefy, but when you miss the timing, you almost always end up in a precarious position. Yeah, Joe, I use TK dodge, which allows me to allows you to do two things. Well, three things really. You can dodge, right? It gives you a dodge roll. You get some invincibility frames in there. Another thing that it does is it allows you to cancel your attacks into blocks. So I can do a regular attack and cancel it into a block. This allows you to do timed blocks even if you're in the middle of an attack. So you get a little bit more freedom than you would in the vanilla game. So you don't have to commit to the attack. But also with a power attack, as long as you catch it early enough, you can cancel it. Once you kind of get into the follow through, you can't. But you can cancel the follow through into a dodge roll. So it's not quite as committee, right? Not as much of a commitment. So I don't know how you feel about dodge roll mods. Some people don't like them because they mess with the balance. Some people don't like them because they get in the way. Like if you watched Magus play with some dodge roll mods every once in a while, I think by default it's a double tap of a direction. So if you're used to using the keyboard to kind of inch your way left or right, you're going to get accidental dodge rolls, and that can be really disappointing, confusing. But you can also assign it to a different hotkey so that you don't get that. So it can really open up your combat gameplay a lot. I highly recommend dodge roll mods if you can get used to them. For things like that. That sounds complicated. I can't even remember my freaking hotkeys. That's okay. That's fair. That's fair. But it can really enable a lot of things in combat, especially for two-handed barbarian type players and warriors. Okay, so another giant bounty in the books. I like that. And I didn't even use rally standard. Crap. I really should have used rally standard. Okay, I need to get into the habit of using that. If I'm going to spend a perk on it, I need to be using it. Well, that's oddly specific. Rain starting in 6 minutes on our weather forecast. That is oddly specific. Cool that they can get it down to that level of precision, though, if it's right. I mean, that kind of precision is completely useless if it's not accurate, right? This one has a dodge, not a roll, but keep forgetting to dodge. Yeah, I can TK dodge for Nemesis, at least at the point where I installed TK dodge for Nemesis, didn't have an MCM menu, so I can't switch it on the fly, but it does have a configuration menu, or a configuration file that I can change to do a step dodge instead of a dodge roll. And you don't have to install the moveset animation overhauls or anything like the Souls style combat animations or anything for this. This blends right into the vanilla combat system pretty seamlessly. I agree, and I admire those like yourself and Magus who can master that type of combat. Yeah, I'm pretty good with the physical combat type stuff. Magus, he is on another level as far as like hotkeys for magic and spells and things like that. I've seen him do things with like his necromancer characters that like kind of boggles my mind a little bit, how quickly and fluidly he can hit those hotkeys and switch between spells and get a real like combat flow going with somebody of the character like a necromancer, where you don't think of them as too adept in combat. He makes it work in very impressive ways for sure. With physical combat, I feel like I can really hold my own with the best of them, like warrior type stuff and combat archery and stuff. But yeah, with the mage type stuff, it's Magus. He holds the trophy there. Just the good old basic crap Sky UI gives you. Yeah, Sky UI is cool with the equip sets and things like that. You can hotkey equip sets, and that I have used for like dual wield setups and like my Scorpion character who needed specific things in the left hand or empty left hand, because he fluidly went between doing fire destruction magic to blade with the katana combat to unarmed martial arts stuff within one fight. So I needed to leverage the Sky UI stuff in order to get that stuff to work fluidly in combat, and I got it to a good place. That was one of my more favorite non-sneaky builds that I've ever done. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's sell some stuff off here.
Hello, friend.
Hi there, friend.
Take a look.
I've been beyond frustrated with the dual dagger setup, deciding that I wanted the two daggers in opposite hands from what I wanted them. Ooh, yeah, that can... The dual-handed equip stuff does get very fiddly and finicky and frustrating. All the different F words. Not to mention the F words that probably pour out of your mouth while you're trying to get it to work. Yeah, I can commiserate. But the equip sets with Sky UI can help with all of that. It is a little bit complicated to learn, but once you do, having that stuff at the tip of your fingers as far as just a hotkey to get everything where you want exactly all the time is it's worth its weight in learning a new thing, and the frustration that comes with that. Oh, that's what I mean? Yeah, okay. This is why I make videos, so I can edit my talents in. There you go. I mean, no hate here, Joe. Your videos are awesome. Outside of combat, the cape clips in ways that frustrates me a little bit, so I usually take that off in town when I'm doing my selling off my loot stuff. The loot that I got from that one, not as good as the loot that I got from Sleeping Tree Camp, just because I didn't get that boss chest and all those mammoths.
Rise up, Stormcloaks! Embrace the word of mighty Talos!
Using heavy armory mod? If so, are you planning on using tridents in this build? Tridents have more damage than spears, but less reach than a spear. Spears are also faster because they're lighter, which is why I like the spear. They're very agile. Their attack speed is faster. I don't know. It feels more alive in my hands. I also like the sleek look of the spear as opposed to the tridents. But yes, I am running tridents. I don't know. I like the agility that a spear gives with the attack speed more than the straight up damage of the trident. But I do have tridents. Oops, I pluralized that when I should not have. Trident, true. Loot or loot? The two O's on that one. This guy is not a bard. He appreciates their skills, but he is very singularly focused on increasing his martial skill. Actually, that Dragonbone Trident looks pretty wicked. Look at that thing. Maybe when we have the beefier Dragonbone armor, we'll switch to a Trident, because that looks pretty damn cool. The Ebony Trident looks really cool too. The Orcish stuff, the steel and the silver stuff, it doesn't capture my fancy as much as the spear does. Let's see, do I have a steel trident? They don't have a steel trident, do they? That's odd. Anyway, we'll try using this one. It doesn't look too bad. Oh, but the attack speed is noticeably much slower than something that you get from a lighter weight spear. Wow, that was some glitchy animation for the draw. Yeah, significantly better attack speed. So yeah, I might switch over to Trident. I'm just feeling the spear right now. It's a good call. Good call. For the Dragon Bones and maybe Ebony, I might switch over to the Trident because I do like the looks of those Tridents, and it will do a lot better per hit. For damage, anyway. And if I'm being honest, being able to leverage that one-shot attack from the sprint power attack that we have going right now, you probably want the Ebony. You probably want a Trident, something that's going to do more damage from that one shot.
Divine smile on you, friend.
Good call, good call, good shout on that.
Spells and incantations for those with the talent to guess them.
I don't think I really have much to sell him. Some, oops, empty soul gems. What did I just give him? If I were able to sell it, then it probably means it wasn't that important, but yeah, but I think it was Quilluin who mentioned the mage character when I start him. I might start them actually sooner than later. I really wanted to make sure that this modding profile was up and running. I had a lot of patching and tweaks to do to get everything working with like the Zims update and the Ordinator update. Or no, it wasn't Ordinator, it was Summer Mist update with WACCF. I'm not ever using WACCF again, I don't think. It does some really cool things, but the patching just becomes a nightmare with that. But I think I got it into a good spot now. I'll probably play this for another week, and then I'll spin up a mage and a thief character to go along with Fortius here. Let's see, Battle of Champions, that's one. I'm gonna take that back because I haven't done that quest yet, and that'll give me some really cool armor for when I really take on the Legion quest line in earnest. Wow, I really don't have much to sell here. I'll get 1,000 plus for the bounty itself, but not a lot of loot.
Good to see you. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward.
WACCF is a staple. Its changes outweigh a few patches. Yeah, it's not the number of patches, it's the intensity of the patches, especially with something like Summer Mist. If you have a Summer Mist update, like I did just now, which has a bunch of changes in it, trying to redo your WACCF Summer Mist patch, and the Summer Mist update is new enough that I didn't see that patch out there. Then that was a lot of work to get that updated. Probably not as much of a big deal for you because you start clean every time, but for me, when I try to do incremental changes within an existing mod setup, and I also do a lot of my own patching, it can be a nightmare. I really like WCCF separates out the hoods from the robes for like the mage clothing and stuff like that, which is a really cool thing. You can have those cloth hoods. Makes a lot of changes for like values and things like that make a lot of sense, but those I'm less concerned about, honestly. Right, yeah, the patch isn't updated yet. It might be by now, but it did take me a few days to get that Summer Mist patch up and working correctly. Did Cryptopeer update the official patch? I don't think he has yet. If he has, then that's easy, but at the time that I did it, he hadn't. But yeah, WACCF has patches for a lot of stuff in my game. It has, well, maybe not a lot, maybe like 3 or 4 different mods. But the changes that it makes there are pretty intense. All right, so what's next? We can look for another bounty. Get another 1,000 or 2 gold. We could go check our Hearthfire home. What do we have as far? Oh, we could do this. Just start doing quests. Just start doing quests. Why not? Bones for a Crow. This is added by the full AE update. This gives you that crazy halberd looking glaive thing. It's very barbaric. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Crow's Tooth Camp. Oh, while we're on this giant theme, let's go to Fallowstone. We'll do the it's not Mehrunes Dagon. It's not Maldaroth. It's the orc god, the orc deity Daedric thing. Yeah, let's do that. Malakath. Yep, Magus got me. We'll go do the Malakath thing, and I think that's where we'll cap off the stream. Let's see, our encumbrance is good enough. Not much else to sell. Probably should be some good loot at Fallowstone, most likely. Oh, P. Miller snuck in. Sorry, I didn't say hi to you, buddy. He's back. Great. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's head over to, I think, just Riften, and then we can march to Fallowstone from Riften. Just head up past this mountain around the corner to the right, and then it'll be on the mountain range, the Velothis, I guess. That's still the Velothis that far south. Giant theme, larger than life, indeed. But yeah, after I've done all the custom patching and stuff, I think this is in a pretty good state. I'm looking forward to spinning up a mage character and a thief character, and then we can add those to the rotation. That way I don't get burnout on one character like I did with the Steger. Steger, by the way, I'm about a third of the way done with the build guide. I need another week or two. I know I've been seeing a week or two for about a month. It just really depends on how crazy work gets and how busy I am over a weekend. How much time I have to sit at my computer where I'm not doing actual work, you know? Balagog Gronalob, the gourmet. Balagog or Malablob or one of them real fancy orcish names. I completely overshot the carriage because I was looking at the chat. Oh god, what a shit show. What is this actual work people speak of? Yeah. It's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse sometimes. You give up a lot of your life to this so-called work thing in the hopes of someday being able to retire and do whatever the hell you want to do based on your years of service to capitalism.
Need a ride? Where do you want to go?
Let's see here. I want to go to Riften, please.
Climb and back and we'll be off. I can't wait here forever.
Can't wait here forever. That took literally less than a second for me to get into that that carriage. Wait, there's a chance to retire? Yeah. You gotta start early. And if you don't start early, you gotta make a lot of concessions, but it's still something that people do now and then. You don't want to retire? Yeah, I like my job enough that if I don't have to retire, I probably won't. But I like to have the option. So I do work hard to save enough money for that. Retiring at 65 is a pipe dream for a lot of people, but I technically am still on track for that. I like what I do enough that if I can still do it after 65, I probably will still do it, but it's I'm always of the opinion that if you don't need your job, you're going to enjoy it a lot more, right? If at any point you can say, F this noise, flip a table and walk out, and you're going to be, you know, none the worse off for it, then you're probably going to have a lot more glory of the Empire. Okay, we're going to stay out of this for now. Yeah, having that FU fund ready to go in the bank, that's the way to do it, man. Get rich or die try. Definitely wish there was more time to do content. Absolutely. Streaming is lowest barrier to entry. All you have to do is pop that on, start playing. There is some prep work to it. There's a lot to learn to be able to technically do it. And if you're trying to take your streams to the next level, there's a lot of nuance and a lot of work that goes into that. But for me, it's something that I can do to keep the channel alive between build guides, and those build guides take months for me. They just do. I wish if I had more time, if I didn't have to work, I could probably get a build guy out a week or two. I am not wearing a helmet. I should be wearing a helmet. There we go. Monks are cool too? Absolutely. Partially retired at 57. Finally had to retire at 68. There you go. 65 is a myth as well. If you're in the US and intend to draw Social Security, the current retirement age is 67 and a half. That's probably only going to go up, which is kind of awful when you think about the kind of work a lot of people do and still having to do it when you're upwards of 70. I mean, yeah, the healthcare advancements and stuff make it so that people are more able in their 60s and 70s than they ever were before, I guess, technically, officially. But feeling how I feel now at 43, I don't think I'm going to be wanting to do stuff like that when I'm 70. Or even able to do a lot of the things I do now. Searching Nexus for walking sticks. There you go. I know Campfires has a pretty decent walking stick. Immersive armors, or immersive weapons adds the battle staff. I don't think immersive armors does.
Someone do something.
Oh my god. Is that a spider? No, those are just wolves. Ooh, I do have a level up ready to go too.
Cleared out, I guess.
All right, more pelts for leveling smithing. More ingredients for poisons and one-handed potions. Excellent. How's my encumbrance doing? Getting up there, but still okay. Are you the one looking for ingredients?
I'm collecting ingredients to bring to the gourmet. He'll think my taste's so refined when I offer them to him. You have
50 cent Sigma grind set. Yeah. Streaming is a lot of fun. It's more fun than content creation of like recorded content, right?
Know, for all I know, the gourmet is a woman. You know, I've heard the gourmet is in Skyrim right now.
4th of July pools time tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Or no, not tomorrow. In about a month. Folks have been retired for 15 years or so, and it's not easy for them. Yeah, well, different strokes for different folks, right? I mean, some people can't handle retirement. Some people can't retire, but would like to. And some people just can't work when they get to a certain age because of various things. Is this one of those giant clubs that you can have a
What do you need?
You can have a follower pick up.
What do you need, friend? What do you
No,
need?
I can get him to wait there, but I can't get him to pick it up. Chief Yamars.
Caves
If there's
are
a
good
chance this will
place
save
for
me,
exercise.
then I'm taking it.
Lots of
I'll lead the
bandits.
way.
Twerpiest
You
orc
bounce
in
at
all of
me,
Skyrim.
Let's get this over with.
And lots of death.
66 and a half, not 70, 67 and a half.
When I was in the dungeon, a bunch of the guards used to
I'll be in my Sigma grind set in the 70. Hey, man, I feel like I'm still going to be doing... I don't know if I'm going to be doing Skyrim content. Probably. My 60s and 70s, but... hopefully there'll be some new Elder Scrolls games by then. I hope. One can hope, right? You can't take that for granted, but... maybe. I mean, this game has been out since, so about 13 years, going on 13 years now, and I haven't completely burnt out on it yet. I do get burnt out on certain characters. Like the Steger, I had to restart like halfway through because I was getting, you know, crashes and stuff because of the way I was doing my summons. But just refining the gameplay and everything was worth a restart on that. But, you know, going through 2 iterations of that all at the same time, it did burn me out on the game a little bit. So I had to go play some other stuff. But that new character smell always brings me back. So I'll probably still be streaming Skyrim. You know, if the health holds up and everything. I hope it does. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Watch out for that stomp. Do not want to block that stomp. This giant seems a little weaker than the last one. Okay, we're able to keep him off balance pretty much the whole time there. More loot. Need more loot. M-O-A-R. Wait, it's orcish something. Orcish helmet. No, I can craft one up there. Oh yeah, I do have the first-person animations for the spears too. That's cool. I think they just look better in third person, especially with the flowing capes and stuff. By the way, I gotta put my flowing cape on. Dodge rolls with a cape on look just really cool. I would imagine in a real-life combat situation like this, you wouldn't want that cape flapping around in the breeze, getting caught on stuff and strangling you, binding up your arms and stuff. But it just looks really cool in action. Oh, let's see here. Joe, gonna go sit out on the deck for a bit. Have a great weekend, Karn, and all. You too, Joe. Enjoy your time outside. We can't do that here right now. The weather is currently trying to kill us all. I'll be playing Skyrim AAAAE 50 years from now. Yeah, that other release of Skyrim they do on when the PlayStation 11 is out. They'll give us a free upgrade on PC too. We'll all be playing it on our 9090s. This one plays Khajiit with no vampire. Uh-oh, Strudel takes offense to that. I would imagine Magus probably does too. Oh, a troll? Certainly. I mean, Yamars is making for a pretty good meat shield here, allowing me to do the pokey pokey. It's a pretty great effect. In our 90s? Indeed. Playing on our 9090 and in our 90s? I like it. I like it. Life goals for me. Not doing anything with these bones. The scrimshaw is cool, but when you have smithing, anything you can do in scrimshaw, you can pretty much do better with smithing. Especially for a heavy armor guy. Alright, encumbrance is still okay. Okay, I'm actually switching to the sword and board for this. Visibility is kind of low with how dark all this stuff is. Probably switch back to the two-hander, to the spear. Yeah, with the newer 1.6 whatever that is, the 1597 isn't as needed anymore. I could see that happening.
All right, I'll go kill this giant. Unless, of course,
I think the
you'd
big
like
thing
to make
that's
some extra
keeping
gold.
things at 1597 is just the sheer user base that it has right now. People who do long playthroughs and stuff like that are probably stuck on 1597, so a lot of mod authors are feeling the pressure to keep it down there, and a lot of mod authors themselves, I think, stay at 1597, even if technically there's not a ton of reason to do that anymore with a lot of the ports. No, you're supposed to do this.
Fine.
Malakath is
Then
not
wait
gonna
here.
like.
This should only take a second.
Malakath is always watching, dude. I can help,
Is someone there?
but this is all you.
Finally, some action. Let's go, friend. Time to
What
waste
a
it.
puss.
Yamars was a fool.
40th Giant Bane, I like it.
His way out of responsibility. Well,
Oh, the new Crash Logger is more accurate than the .NET script? That's nice.
You took care of the giants. 2 problems solved at once.
Well, yeah, on a technical, yeah. Technically, there's probably no reason to stay on 1597.
The rest of them
It's the human element. Malakath's cleaver. People don't want to change. People don't want to change. People don't want to reinstall for a mod. This is nice. I can craft this though. This is part of the somewhat historically accurate weapons that has all of the Viking stuff in it. Shagrol's hammer, that probably over encumbered. No, that's a quest item, so that doesn't count. Myths of Sheogorath. It's interesting to me. So, okay, Fortius is not really the studious type. He's not one for books. He's more just all about battle. But this strikes his interest. Why would a giant have a book, and why would he have this book? So we'll take it. Let's see what all he has to do. So am I supposed to take this? No, it's been too long since I've done this quest. Back to Largishbur before he transforms it. Okay. Another boss chest. 3% chance per second to restore 50 points of health, magic, and stamina. This is a great enchantment. One that I already know, though. Move 10% faster. Okay. That's great for a heavy armor guy. Silver longsword, 14 weight, 450. It's a great sword. Looks cool, too. We'll take it. Gore, where you at, buddy? How encumbered am I? Not even 20, so I can use a potion for this. strength, potion of strength, draft of strength, 30. Yes, we'll do that. Just can't justify the work it would take to update everything with this list, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's why a lot of companies in certain industries, they stay stuck on old technologies for so long, because that was a lot of upfront costs and everything that they had to make work for a long time, and transferring to a new technology, even though it's better in pretty much every conceivable way, it's still expensive in terms of time and training and retrofitting and everything. It's still expensive to use that newer technology, and so you stick with the old stuff for longer than you probably should. It happens in pretty much every single industry. And I think it carries over to modding here as well. But yeah, if you're starting new with a custom list, yeah, I do agree with Magus. I think at this point, all the big stuff has been ported over to that 1.6 point whatever. The problem is, so I've read the patch notes of every single one of BGS's releases for Skyrim, and they do add a lot of cool stuff like bug fixes, new scripting engine updates, things that will make bugs less prevalent in a game. Especially if they're getting their scripting triggers fixed to where like quest triggers and stuff never fail to launch, which is the vast majority of like bugs that you see over the course of a Skyrim is a certain quest trigger not firing for whatever reason, because the game engine is overloaded or computer resources are overloaded, specifically like the CPU and things like that. They've done a lot of work on that scripting engine, that Papyrus scripting engine, to mitigate those scripting misfires, and which is great, which is awesome, right? But as long as they keep incrementing their EXE version, I don't know why they feel like they have to do that. If a lot of the engine level stuff probably does require an EXE, but like all of the Creation Club drops and stuff like that, they don't. I'm running 1597, and I'm running that with the vast majority of the Creation Club stuff that came with AE, and it's working completely fine. I don't know. They need to figure out how to release a Creation Club update without, which I think they have now for the most part. They release Creation Club stuff through the Bethesda storefront all the time without upgrading the vanilla patch, or the vanilla, not vanilla, the Skyrim EXE number. So they've gotten better at it, but every time they do a drop of the EXEs, it's gonna break stuff, and I just wish they could they could do that without breaking everybody, right? So just because 1.6 point whatever is the right one now, doesn't mean it's going to be next year, right? And that sucks. But I don't see a way out of it. Bethesda needs to monetize this stuff so that they don't go the way of, you know, Rocksteady and Arcane and all the other Tango that have failed to properly monetize and get their software to hit. Bethesda's still in good standing right now. They're still making a ton of money. Starfield is controversial as it was, and how much it divided the player base on, you know, people who loved it and people who thought it was hot garbage. They still made them a ton of money. It was their most successful release ever, really. We'll see if it has the same legs as Skyrim does. I don't think it will. Fallout 4 didn't, and it won't. Starfield being a new IP that wasn't really widely adopted by everybody who played Skyrim, probably won't either, but there's still a lot of potential for modding there as soon as the modding tools come out officially. But yeah, they have to keep updating their game and provide incentives. The creation Why am I over encumbered still? Oh, the potion wore off. Okay, let's see if I can sell some stuff off to Wylandria here. Yeah, they're gonna do stuff like paid mods. They're gonna have it for Starfield. They already have it for everything else. It's gonna be there for Elder Scrolls 6. They need that continued revenue for these enormous projects in order to stay successful and keep creating new games. It's just the reality of the situation. That's not gonna change. But I feel like they can do it in a way where it doesn't break modders' games. Figure something out. Break out the engine stuff out of the EXE, so if you make in updates to that, you can do it without breaking everybody's mods. There are ways to do it. As a software engineer, I do it all the time with my own application. You don't need to upgrade that, to update that EXE version and break everybody. It doesn't have to happen. There are technically ways around it. It just isn't a priority for them at this point. Which is sad. Wish we could bypass Skyrim being a single-threaded process and draw a call limit. Yeah, so they ported it to 64-bit, which does enable the memory. It does lift the memory limits from something like, I don't remember what the x86 memory limit was. It was like 4 gigabytes or something like that, and ups it to like 32 gigabytes or something ungodly, or 128. Something you're not going to hit with a video game. So that was nice, but it's still just a single-threaded process, and that's where a lot of the bottlenecking comes in now. Is not the memory, it's the CPU. If they could properly parallelize their game, and I don't think that's something that you can do through through a mod or through something like SKSE. That's something that has to be done at the very base level of the game engine. And that's something that's hard to do. There's no magic bullet for that. You can convert it to an x64 process, which is what they did. And there are certain improvements and benefits that come along with doing that. But as you can see, my CPU is running at 22%. My GPU is running at 53%, and I'm still only getting, just over, 60 to 70 frames per second here. And that's because if you look down the percentages in all these CPU cores, you're going to find one that is way higher than the rest of them. And I think that is CPU 5. Oh no, CPU 20. I don't know. Yeah, that sucks. And that the draw call limits in the engine and things like that. Have I tried lossless yet? What is lossless? Not a big fan of space game? Yeah, you're not the only one. It's divided.
Over here. Exotic ingredients. I have them all.
Learn a library's worth of knowledge in moments.
The more game updates, the less relevant older EXEs become.
Rare trinkets and the finest oddities from Morrowind.
Downgrade patchers don't work anymore? Did Steam change something with their depot? Because I thought that the downgrade patches were just interfacing with the Steam depot. And I don't think Steam really changes the depot interface too much. But that sucks if the downgrade patchers don't work anymore.
Jewelry with legendary Argonian craftsmanship.
I just wish we could bypass Skyrim being single-threaded. Yeah, 4 gigabytes, yep. You needed to patch it even to play on PC then. That sucks. EX12 base object swapper edition. I tried lossless. X3 frame generation for Steam games. Oh, cool. Tried it today for Skyrim, went from 85% hertz to 140. I've been doing the DLSS3 stuff in games that handle it, and I am... I had my doubts, but it's free FPS. You almost get double FPS for free if your GPU can handle it. Frame generation is awesome. It's not a magic bullet. It's like you're not going to make a 30 FPS game playable at 60 FPS. You might technically be getting 60 FPS, but the game is still going to feel like it's 30 FPS with the same, if not more, input lag and stuttering and things like that. It's better for higher FPS.
Gleaming gemstones over here.
Halgari needs to rebuild them. Get on it, Halgari. Damn it.
Learn a library's worth of knowledge in moments.
Which is why we're using the depot files. And he won't, since he's working for Nexus now. It's $6. I'm using the upscaler too. And that applies to every game, like regardless of whether you're running an EMP or anything. That's pretty cool. I might try it.
Meats and produce.
Now, not every frame is created equally. If you have frame time that is jumping all over the place, so it has to be compatible with VSync or at least VRR,
Make love like a saber
like
cat.
G-Sync or FreeSync.
Like a giant. Only a mere 20 gold coins and all this could be yours.
Yeah, Starfield had a really good implementation of DLSS 3 baked right into it. It works great. It's insane. Yeah, it's double FPS. It's awesome.
Genuine.
Did you see my previous comment? I didn't. There's a lot of comments. Let me see. It disables G-Sync, if I recall. You have to disable it prior. Okay. That might be a deal breaker if frame times are all over the place. Because just having a higher frame rate doesn't necessarily mean it's better if it's not an even frame timing. Let's see here. Ever thought of using Pulchomorsolis armor mods? I've never heard of that guy, but I will look into it. What kind of decided on playing a male character in Skyrim for once, and the build is going to be aforementioned dragon build. Wears the dragon lord armor. Who wears the dragon lord armor wielding a dragon bone trident enchanted with shock damage. That sounds pretty badass. So that's where your trident stuff is coming from, huh? You found out the glory that is the dragon bone trident. It does have VRR VSync support. Great. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, let's see. It's 2:03. I usually stop at like 2. That's my 3-hour window. Guys, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of engagement in the chat. Having a lot of fun with this character. I think he's coming along very nicely. Thank you all for joining me on this journey with the Imperial Warrior here. But I think I am going to shut it down for the weekend and, you know, do some real life stuff. I got chores to do tomorrow in the heat, which is not going to be fun. I have a game night to get to tonight with some friends. Yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks so much. Do click around in the description below. There are some great content creators down there linked. So if you liked the stuff here, a lot of the same community you can be found in the Twitch streams elsewhere. So please do that. The Wind, Magus, Maldaroth, they all have Twitch channels that they stream to. Ireshot was linked to earlier today. Great channel there. The Panicked Monk does some great pre-recorded Let's Plays. 57 Strudel has an awesome fanfic series that she's been working on for years and years, and it's awesome. I think that's it. Oh yeah, and Boone23 has a great Skyrim video, Skyrim channel as well on YouTube. Yeah, so click on them, send them some likes, send them some follows, send them some subscriptions, and I'll probably see you there because I'm a big fan of all those guys. And that's it for me. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.